What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. It is another installation of the Siege Double Shot. We're coming back to you Qual style. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run.
That's right. Welcome back, everyone, to the Challenger Series. It is Qual number 3, the last opportunity for any of the teams to make it in. Over the past 3 weekends, there have been 399 different teams have registered to try to make it into Challenger Series, and it is all coming down to a single team, my friend. The past 2, we got to watch M80X dominate early and finally qual at number 2. This time, though, we are going to get treated to a little bit of an extra special stack. But before we get there, let's talk about the bracket and the path to pro real quick.
Ooh, the gateway to greatness. A little bit confusing for those of you who haven't studied it intensely, but that's why we have Whiskey Run here. He's going to bring us right through and how we're going to see the path to pro.
That's right. We talked about open qualifiers. 4 teams from each of the 3 open qualifiers making it in. We've already seen 8 of those teams qualified. We'll talk about that in a second. Number 3 is today the last opportunity for 4 teams to make it in. There is already 1 invited team. We know who that is as well. And then the 3 Latin American teams are going to round out the top 16, making it to a Swiss stage. If you want to call it Challenger League, that would be it. After that, 8-team double elimination playoff bracket where the top team will make the NAL affiliate spot. So, who's the teams that we've seen qualified already? Got 8 of them from the first 2 qualifiers. Core, Akron, JJ & Co., Revelations, M80X, the Unks, Blackbeard Gaming, and Karn & Co. are those 8 qualified teams out of the first 2.
Wow. Okay, so a bunch of teams and names that we know and love on the double shot. But today is the big question. You said it. It is the last qual, your last chance to put yourself on the path to pro. And for a couple of these players, there's a been there, done that factor. The question is asked, when does Beaulo play? So that's right here and right now, my friends.
That's right. Zhong, I believe. That's a tough one. Fett really is making us he's making us work for it today, but this Fett, Beaulo, Skittlz, Aiden, and Oozie stack taking on some friends of ours we know, Swifted, Roth, playing Burger & Co. here. But I think everyone is feeling like this is a little bit of a David versus Goliath type of scenario here for this team to move on. Whether or not they were going to get first rounded, we had to bring them to you. You said it. When does Beaulo play? And this is, who is M80X going to play in the Swiss stage? Who is Stomping going to play? That's what we're going to find out today.
So he said in the chat that Fett assembled the Avengers. And you know what? That's kind of what it feels like, Whiskey. There's some big names. A couple of hammer lifters.
No way. What a stack.
So we talk about the story will unfold on the battleground. We're going to find out which one that is, and it looks like all the way at the end, it's a happy day for me. You know what? It's a red letter day. Beaulo plays. We're going to have it on Nighthaven. We're in Qual number 3, your last chance to make it on the path to pro, or I guess your second or third chance, depending on, which team that you are currently on.
I mean, out of those 399 teams, obviously only 8 have made it through. So there's been a lot of teams are trying it for the 3rd time in a row to have to fight this bracket out. And it's a single elimination best of 1. Makes it very difficult to make their way through. You said it. Nighthaven, we've seen it a bunch of times here, but what a stack at the Avengers. That's a great way to think about it. Yo.
Well, you know what's crazy too is like your first qual you have to take on M80X, but then JJ & Co comes out on top. Your second qual, M80X is back again, right? And you're thinking, okay, they qualify this time. 3rd qual should be a walk in the park. Who am I playing? Oh, goddamn, it's Fett and Beaulo. Okay, so not going to be easy on qual number 3, Whiskey.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about this. I talked about this a little bit with the Europeans earlier today. You're walking in, you're playing the game. You think the top 8 have already qualified. Some of the best T2, T3 teams have already made it through. Who is left? And you said it. You come up against Beaulo. Yeah, that's going to be a tough game. So Let's see. We want to take a look at top 8.
Yeah,
One
somebody
more
asked
time.
one more time, so we just real quick bring that up.
So the
and
top,
I'll
yeah,
get
we
it.
said if you just joined, these are the 8 teams that have already qualified, and we are about, I gotta say, we're about 1 minute away from this game starting, my friend. But the invited team, the team used to be known as the SSG Academy and now known as Nightmare. They are the invited team that's going to be rounding out this stack of the 8 that have already qualified. The other 4 will be qualified today, or really tomorrow, as we work through that stack. Not the same. Yeah. What a day, my friend.
No kidding. Okay, well, getting everybody here in the lobby. How close are we? Are we ready to send it? We need a quick little break.
Yeah, if we send it to a break, it's going to be 30 seconds, my friend. 30 seconds.
Okay, well, we're heading to Nighthaven. Folks, what do we love about it? It's my absolute favorite map. We've talked about it in the past because it's got lots of that 2-floor extension, a couple of standard sites. Right, Whiskey, we're almost guaranteed to see, maybe the second floor is your first set. Bans, I mean, shields off the board. You see it played a lot, like you see Clubhouse and Border being played out. I mean, this is a great map to start you out on because it gives you a little bit of variety. It gives you a little bit of that unknown factor. Yes, there's some standards, and yes, we've seen a lot of these players currently play those standards. Maybe something different to the table for Qual number 3.
Nighthaven, you said, a great map to start out on. It's one that we've got a couple of the collegiate players on Burger & Co. as well. It's very much a favorite for the collegiate teams, and obviously we saw it a lot in Pro League. So from a preparation standpoint, maybe in Burger & Co. has got a little bit of an advantage from a total time on the game. Boy, Fett and his stack have got a significant advantage.
Okay, here it goes. Nighthaven. Let's get into it. When does Beaulo play? It's right now. Now, I assume, Whiskey, that we're going to see as far as bans goes something very similar, right? Not wanting to have to deal with that Monty, not wanting to have to deal with that Blackbeard. And then defensive-wise, we've been kind of thrown for a loop here these last couple. Azami being allowed in the gameplay for both set of quals for almost the entirety of our 2 last stream sessions.
It's crazy. We've made it this far, and you've got it, my friend. 1 sec while I work out one detail.
Sure. Okay, here we go. Getting into the bans. First one coming onto the board, Burger & Co. What do they not want to play against? If I had to guess, I'm going to say Blackbeard is going to go for ban number 1 here. It's just so difficult to deal with, and instead it's going to be the Deimos. It is something we've seen happen to players that are incredibly quick peekers. Beaulo does have a peak named after him, so it makes a good argument to get that quick gun off the board. Going to be quickly followed up with Blackbeard, a shield with an AR on it. Just don't want to deal with it. Here's where the big part's going to play out. We've seen the Tubarão, we've seen the Mira, and we have seen the Valkyrie quite a few times, and yeah, it's going to be the Tubarão. Last one up and on board. If I had to guess here, right, we've seen the Valkyrie. That soft breach is so incredible to deal with. C4 galore. She's going to stay on the board, and it's going to follow quickly in suit with the zombie being gone. Back to kind of that normal, Whiskey.
Yeah, you said it. Now, to me, the thing that's interesting, and there was a question in the chat, a lot of people talking about this. Is it fair that Beaulo was playing, right, coming out of retirement for the quals? I think it's great that you get the opportunity to play against it. It's one of the things that we love about the open qualifiers. Anybody can make it. Literally anyone can jump in. They can try and take a shot. You get a chance to play against Beaulo. It's not ranked. This is a competitive game. You get the full experience here. I love the fact that that you get that opportunity in open quals. It's one of the reasons why we love getting a chance to cast these games.
Oh yeah, it is because you can cast literally anybody. It can come up at any time. We've done, no names all the way up to, well, today we're casting Beaulo. So right, it can just be anything. I also got a command in there now, so top 8 should be able to Let's see, top 8 should be able to give you the qualified teams. Boom.
10 seconds to go.
All right.
There it
Had
is.
to get that one. Yep, had to get that one situated.
5 seconds left.
All right, who are we bringing to the board? Defensive side of it, we talked about Intel being incredibly effective here on Nighthaven. You're going to see Mozzie, you're going to see Valkyrie come up first, and a little bit of a dedication to the roam game as Roth puts himself on to the Vigil. On the other side of the board, Fett is going to be bringing in that support with the Monty. Maverick being kind of a staple. They didn't opt for a regular hard breach for this one.
We've seen the Maverick get banned on Nighthaven, I would say about 30% of the time on our streams because he's so good on this map. Oozie's going to be the first one to take down Swifted. We talked about him from the St. Clair collegiate team. But I love the fact that they brought out the Mav. He's so good on this particular map. Lots of opportunity. You can use him in relative safety, and I think that's the key and the differentiator here. Aiden bringing him out for a good reason. Bringing out the vertical stack as well. Fett bringing out the Monty. Now, we see the shields banned so frequently. The fact that we're actually seeing the Monty played almost feels like a bit of a surprise.
I mean, it maybe it's just so good at this map. He's a space taker. They know they've got to deal with this roaming Roth, and so in this time instead they're going to get a drone out and they're going to start putting the screws down. There it is. Oozie going to find Roth off the board. Roam game sussed out, which means they have now claimed all of the vertical second and first floor. Now they can start getting to work on opening everything up.
So they've made the push down. You're already in a 5v3 situation. This defensive team already on a bit of a back foot here. Working, fighting, having to take down their own Mira face-to-face with a Monty, with a triple from Oozie. They're going to get one with the C4, but it is not going to be enough, as it almost feels like a little bit of a bullied scenario here on round 1 of game 1.
Yeah, but you can counter that, right? Now, let's just get some traps. Let's just bunker down a little bit and try to work off the trade game. Find that first, and then send it through the rest of the round. Yep, they did. They rushed in. They found it quickly, and so we're going to see ourselves on Take an Assembly one more time.
I mean, it's a great defensive site here. Try and hold. What are they going to do differently? We saw a little bit, not a huge roam game come out from Burger & Co., letting this team make the entry into Kitchen, push down the stairs. Rather than having a little bit more of a direct route, we'll see if they sort of change this up. How is Burger & Co. going to respond to what was a very aggressive attacking push here from Fett Stack? So change it up. Bring out the intels. One of the things we saw with the M80 team over the last 2 weeks,
greatest
Valk banned
moment in my life,
a significant portion of the time because that intel is so strong. Like that Burger & Co. is bringing her out to try and give them a little bit of intel on how exactly is the Avengers going to push in here.
10 seconds left before insertion.
That is not going to go away for sure.
5 seconds
Maestro,
left.
it's Cam's to shoot back. What could go wrong here, right? As long as they're not reaching in and taking up. The problem is you're seeing that action done so quickly. Will it be a factor? Will it be the slowdown? I would have liked to see just a little bit more of attention towards that trap, something to really slow them down. But the double intel here could prove to be the key. There's 3 C4s on the board, so vertical is to be had. They'll be able to take them down from the bottom. Looks like I might be a little quiet there. Whiskey, if you can bring me up. But they're going to dedicate to it, right? Rams on the board, so they're going to be opening everything up. And one of the cool things about Nighthaven, especially when you're down in the tank assembly, is you can reach that verticality through 2 floors. You can go up to the 2nd floor, start opening some of that verticality up, and then find yourself looking all the way down in the basement, catching people back onto the rotate and the roam. All right, now got themselves a little bit of an opening into that main lobby area, the garage, as they start to open up everything here. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure on those rules. So they've kind of bunkered back down. Everybody now downstairs except for the Legion, who does look to play spoiler up top. feels like a bit of a tough one because they are doing an excellent job on Beaulo's team, on Fett's team, of just sussing out where the roam game is. They open up the verticality. They're going to be rewarded with the first kill, as now they're going to put some attention towards those hatches.
Using the thermite charge to open the hatch, a little bit of overkill, but nothing wrong with some overkill as Skittlz make the push in, take down the Valk, talked about her, in a 5v3 situation again, a little bit evened up as Jagorku finds one and gets a little bit closer, but it is feeling like right now the trap is collapsing in. You've already got Monty downstairs holding, watching that mirror window. Skittlz pushing in from the back, a little bit of a distraction as Beaulo gets that one. That's the plant going down, my friend.
Oh, and there's going to be Swifted taking Beaulo off the board. Does put us into a 3-2, 3-1, and Skittlz is able to find the last. Now, a quick answer back is Legion, the one who played spoiler above, finds Skittlz off the board. So now it's into a 2v1. This is a post-plant scenario, and you have a Monty up and out on the board. So finds it, sends in a Legion Goo, looking for that verticality, knows that the push is going to come from above, or at least has the assumption that it is. Yep, and pushed a little bit back, just waiting for that cue from the Monty to say, go ahead and take that shot. You got to have 10 seconds on the board, but it's quickly starting to count.
They're just letting him battle the Monty. Didn't necessarily need to make the push. Aiden's going to hold the vertical just in case he decided to back off that direct engagement. Well played there by the attackers. Having the vertical in play, the Monty downstairs, they're certainly, I think, going to look back on this and say, man, rather than, you know, they should have banned Monty as the alternative. Question is whether or not, you know, was Deimos going to be worse for this team? We're not going to know, but certainly it seems like Monty just being an absolute menace to this Burger & Co. defense to start off with. 2 rounds in the basement done and dusted. Time to head upstairs to the 2F command. We'll see whether or not this can be a change-up for this defensive team. So far, not working, getting in a 5v3 situation early on for both of those rounds and having to battle back.
And just to address it, yes, M80 does not play today. They have already made it into the Swish stage. They have already qualled. And if you want to see the highlights from some of those, you can head over to our YouTube or TikTok, where we put together all of the kills captured on the highlight screen, or on the stream screen. Everything that was featured here, you can find on YouTube or TikTok to relive those glorious moments. But they won't be playing again until... When does the Swish stage start?
April 5th, which is next weekend. This is the last opportunity for the open quals to take place. Registration's already closed. There was 123 teams that registered today for this route. So out of this 123, it's going to be 4 that come out of the end that added that 16 teams. So that'll be who we see M80X stomping and his crew play. April 5th is the 8 teams we already talked about, plus 4 more from this weekend.
So getting in, using the IQ to get rid of the Cade Claw, make it a little bit easier to open up that main. And of course, you can see a little bit more of a standard setup here out of Fett's team. Some attention and investment into opening up the walls. Sometimes you see it doubled up here on the hard breach. They opted for can openers this time instead of that Selma charge that Ace will bring to the table, and no Maverick also. So they are going underneath with IQ, but a second Cade Claw is going to stymie this approach just temporarily, as they do have Aiden onto the Thatcher, so they will be able to get the walls open whether they take down that Cade Claw or not. First one goes down, Swifted, able to find the headshot onto Beaulo. That's going to put the main advantage into Burger & Co.
Finally, what a change-up in a 5v3 scenario for Burger & Co. The second floor being maybe the Achilles heel for this team, or just pushing in a little bit quickly, finding some of these angles, holding. Still Fett playing the Monty, pushing up this rafters area, trying to find a little bit of an opening, but loses his legs in the shot from below in a 2v5 now with a minute 20. Tons of kills happening early in this round.
That's right, Skittlz going to stop the flow of bleeding as it take up some space and a kill, but some siege timing is going to allow Swifted to find that kill, which means Oozie going to be the last alive. It's a 1v4, and this is something we've seen him do before. We'll see if he's able to bring it back here. Give him a nasty little one tap as he says good night. Now into a 1v3, plenty of time to work with, and he's kind of hoping that they'll start to throw a little bodies here. If he can get it down into a 1v2, a 1v1, this could be quite winnable.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
I've absolutely seen this man win. Now, you heard the C4 go out. He waits it. Good trigger discipline. Holds on. Burns the C4 there. But you said it in a 1v3. Now, he knows you got one over on the command side. And for sure got one behind the pillars, holding this tight angle. But like you said, they don't need to throw bodies. They can wait it out. That's exactly what's going to happen. And Swift are going to pick up a 4K on round 3.
Hey, that feels pretty good, right? You start with the Beaulo headshot and then work your way through the rest of the team, and then they find themselves. But it's at the cost of the round rotate. Seen the attack come up 2, which means they've already hit their quota. They've already done it for at least this half. Pressure will then go on to Burger & Co. Make sure that they can maintain and try to put themselves on that 4-2 split, which they're going to need, because I assume that Fett's team is going to be very aggressive.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
Yeah, we're going to expect that the Avengers are going to shut this team down once they get on defense. It's going to be very tough with that wall that they're putting up. But
Attackers
you
have
said
located
it.
a bomb.
Opportunity here for Burger & Co. They're not going to go back down to the basement, even though the site's available after getting stomped on it twice in a row on round 1 and 2. So they're going to try the first floor site. Give maybe a little bit of vertical control back. Hang on. Can they hold on to stop this push up? But that's going to switch off the blitz onto the Monty potentially again. Like this change up that the defense is bringing, the pulse, and continuing to bring the Valkyrie. Maybe they can use the pulse down in the basement, catch a C4 kill, get a little bit of an advantage early on. The question is, I'm assuming you're going to see Fett's team do a little bit of roam clear in the basement to try and clear it out, though.
Yeah, and they like this standard hold here, or the standard take. Bring along a shield to take up some of that real estate. Bring along a buck for that verticality, and he is going to go down. Potentially recoverable, but he's outside, so we're going to have to rely on potentially a C4 to get this one done.
It was perfect. We knew that they were going to push downstairs, try and do the roam clear. That's where Pulse is playing. Uses his intel, takes one down, and yeah, you said it. He's going to be recoverable. Pulse doesn't have to try and make the push up here. He's got enough life left in him to crawl away. Going to back it up with the drone to make sure he's safe.
Yeah, but we've seen a little bit of some shenanigans
Oh,
here,
that
right?
was close.
Opening up for a C4, almost pulls it off, but instead they're able to reclaim Buck, which means man advantage to nobody, as that first minute has been taken care of. It's done and dusted. Now time to push up onto that second floor, push this mirror out of there, and you start to control the vertical.
There was a ton of time wasted down in the basement. Well played there by Jigorku to find that down, at least, even though he didn't take down Oozie. That, like you said, a ton of time wasted. A minute and a half, still 5 stacked, a much slower approach because all of that action happening in the basement and forcing Fett's team to go down and pick him back up, recover that man. So 5 stacked a piece, and you said it, going to work the vertical at this point to try and see whether or not they can catch somebody.
Oh.
Oozie, man.
Instead, they're going to get caught off the board, and there's going to be some shield play. Q goes down, but they're going to get the kill and be able to pick her back up. Fett finding a huge kill there on the equalizer.
That's it. Minute left here in this round. 4 stacked apiece. So that's the Legion that's gone down. And they've managed to... This Burger & Co. team has managed to down 2 of the Avengers at this point. They've both been recovered. Weren't able to survive long enough. And they're still working the vertical side. They've got to get some of this real estate, this map control in hand before making the push down. And right now, you can still see 3 of those blue outlines upstairs on the 2F. Bet the only one starting to make this push down.
Yeah, and you know he's being vocal right now. That's why you see him on the Monties. Allows him to take that space and start to direct the flow of traffic here. They are going to find one off the board. Skittlz goes down, but answered back as Mira's life is forfeit. Beaulo's able to find Swifted off the board. Now the man advantage into the hands of the attacking team as they sit up in a 3-2. Fett still being a commanding presence there on the first floor, and he's just able to give all of this intel. He's able to just basically dictate exactly and direct exactly where they need to go to stop this push. A drop down from the stairs. Aiden's gonna
what a shot!
Puts us into a 3-1. Pulse the last alive. Now a well-placed C4 could be huge here. They're gonna start getting that plant down.
He doesn't have it.
He doesn't have the C4. That's right, he went for it early. Back up to the stairs in a post-plant scenario, is able to find one off the board, as now he puts himself in a Beaulo Fett situation, and it's just not gonna work. Fett on the shield, Beaulo pushing with a gun in his hand. gets a good night's sleep tight. They're able to find themselves another round.
Okay, starting off against Fett's Avengers is a tough place for Burger & Co., and it's already showing up in the score line, 3-1 to the attacking side. They're going to try the basement again. No success on the first floor, no success so far in the basement. They've only found one upstairs, but they got to wait one more round before they're going to get a chance to go back to it and hopefully pick up a second defending win. So what are they going to do? What are they going to change up? Slow down. That time wasting almost worked. And if Pulse had that C4, if he didn't burn that C4 trying to take down Oozie and the Buck who was downed in the basement, he might have had a shot at it. It got close, but unfortunately, not having that util at the end of the round, huge miss for them. So, talked about what level of roam game are they going to bring to the table here, trying out this basement. It's really dominated on those first 2 rounds. So, the opportunity they've seen, Fett's team playing very aggressive from an attacking perspective. They can get a couple of those opening kills like we saw. Plus a swifted 4K. Back on round 3. Might have a shot at this one.
Okay. Well, I guess we're going to find out together. They did do some of that. I like the Coil being on the board. Right? We said we needed a little bit of trap, something to slow them down. That's at least a good way to start it here. On the other side, they're going to kind of stick to what they know. Don't be stuck in that, on my screen at least, stuck in that transition. So, not sure if they're going to pick Dokkaebi yet or not. What is it?
Yeah, they did pick her. That's a weird little bit of a visual bug there coming out. You know, not unsurprising considering the game that we're taking a look at. But Siege X is coming, don't worry. All of that resolved, I'm certain of it. We're Ubisoft partners, by the way, so... From a 5-stack at this point, we've burned nearly a minute off the clock, working the first floor. Got a couple of these players upstairs. The Dokkaebi coming out. Some of this roam clear intel, just giving more information here to Fett's team as they work this this a little bit, feels like a little bit slower attack this time around.
Has to be because of the amount of people that are up, not in the basement, right? They've really put an investment into the vertical game here. And look at that from the top, couple of shots. Roth not able to find one. They do get Beaulo down, however, but it's outside. He will be recoverable. So the man advantage is into the hands. Oh, in a big way now, as they find themselves in a 4v2 situation. Aiden able to find one off the board, so Beaulo not recoverable. Now puts us into a Fett and another player yet again. Fett gets taken off the board, which means it's all going to be onto the shoulders of Aiden now.
In a 1v4 scenario, this is, I know you said it, we've seen people clutch this up. We've seen the pros clutch this up. It is certainly possible. But he's got a tough road ahead of him. Finally going to catch a win here on the basement after a couple of those early engagements. And the downs really have been the difference maker here for Burger & Co. They've been able to, even if they haven't been able to kill, at least been able to down. And that is slowing down the Avengers at this point. So they find 2. Is it going to be a 3-3 split, or are we going to see this attacking team come together? It is, like we said, going upstairs to the 2F, their best opportunity here at this point to try and find another win. That was close on that last round.
You know what? I find another one. I'm feeling pretty good about it. If I take a 3-3 against Beaulo and Fett, it's not going to be terrible, right? You're going to feel all right going into the next one. Or at least into your defense or in your attack phase, where you know that some of that aggression that you've been demonstrating on the defense is going to play out a little bit better on your attack side. It's a switch up in strats here for the attack side, though, as they head back up top. Okay, got to switch it up because this is the only, well, I mean, I guess they lost another one up, but this was the first one they lost. So a little bit of intel, bring the Grim out, double up on that hard breach, which is something that we see a little bit more often, a little bit more of a known strat here.
Working this tense. I was going to say, they're clearing out all the drones this time. It looks like they've only got 1 left alive. Good usage here. Yeah, they managed to catch 3 of those drones, take away some of this intel, and oh boy, spawn peeking this squad. That is a dangerous, high risk, high reward scenario for Burger & Co. on defense.
That's true. If you get this shot, you're an absolute legend, a hero if you spawn peek Beaulo off the board. If you don't, well, okay, yeah, that fits in line. You spawn peek. Okay, so first 30 seconds gone. Drones getting in, trying to find themselves their first opening pick, and instead, it's going to be a dedication to getting it opened up instead this time. Nobody down below on the first floor. Go ahead.
He goes and tries to get the thermite charge on, but none of his EMPs in place. The shots from below not taking the electricity off the wall needed an extra minute there to try and open it up. So that's the first minute gone. They get the IT wall open. That's this big piece of open pressure that now the Avengers have got ready and waiting. Burger & Co. has again slowed them down a little bit. The name of the game, you said it, trying to slow this team down, catch a little bit, holding on, still got the connector wall, banded it off, and he's going to try and just wide swing. Oh man, I was going to say, not a good idea.
Man, it's a crazy place to find yourself, too. Drones are coming, which means you know the pressure is very, very close behind that drone. Oozie just starting to push up, looking for a sliver of pixel. Looks onto the mirror, but the flank is going to come up huge. Roth able to find himself a double. Fett takes Roth off the board, but it's answered back as Skittlz goes down now into a 4-2. And this is going to be the aforementioned Fett and Beaulo left alive. I combined them and made him a celebrity name.
They still got two of the best at the game, still alive, still left standing, and the fact that Burger & Co. now in a situation where you can shut this pair down in a competitive scenario. One of the reasons why we talked about it earlier, love the open quals, and it's going to be Swifted to catch one, Juno to catch the second. One of the 2F, a little bit of the stronghold here for this team, and it is not going to be that 4-2. Going to be a 3-3 split to start this thing off on game 1. Got 4 best of ones today. This is just the first.
That's right, man. I'm feeling good if I just equalized on Beaulo, right? Going into your other side of it, now you're on your attack. Sometimes on Nighthaven feels a little bit more comfortable. Obviously, it's a defensive-sided map. Obviously, the defense should do better, but a lot of teams, when they've got a well-put-together attack team, do really well on Nighthaven. So if they're able to take those early picks and then just hold waiting for those crosses, knowing that aggression is going to come from the defensive side, there is going to be a swing. Just wait for it. As long as Beaulo and Fett don't catch on to that, you might be able to get yourself another couple of rounds here.
I mean, this, from an attacking perspective, 2F is the more difficult side, right? The reason we're going to see this defense start up, they're going to bring out a little bit of the slowdown that sort of brought a little bit of everything here to the defensive party. The Goyo, the Bandit, the Fenrir, the Mira, and rounding it out with the DMR. Oozie, that is going to be a dangerous play. We're going to watch out for him on the Aruni to shut this thing down. One of the things, I love this strategy of using the Mira on the IT wall. We have seen a lot of the good teams really adopt that as the primary strat for holding on to that wall. I love it.
Yeah, we're not sure. Beaulo, yes, he did retire. Yes, he did have a child. Congratulations, Beaulo. Welcome to fatherhood, the fatherhood club. But yeah, he's here. He's playing. He's live. He's doing it. So, you know, maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he just wants to run it back again. We're here for it. You're finding it all in the siege double shot. Ooh. Roth going to find one off the board as 417 is going to ring out and take down the Fenrir. That means wherever those FNAF charges are going to be sitting at, those gadgets, that's where they stay. Twitch going to be able to make quick use of those to get the drones inside.
That's right, continuing to work. I mean, they one down. That's the Fenrir gone. Not going to be able to change those gadgets around. This team working. I like the Brava play. One of the ops that we talked a lot about, stealing this intel, stealing the gadgets, but in this case, not a ton available for the Brava to steal here, just to be a little bit more of a menace. Take some of these cams. You can see those orange outlines, though. They've made that presence known in IT, made that presence known in Connector now. The utility dump coming in. They're pushing aggressively, even with a minute 30 left in this round.
Oh no, fire comes out and it's going to take off and down Beaulo. Beaulo is going to find one, get answered back. Skittlz to find one, but not going to be the case. Attack's going to find one, and now they find them up in the scoreline. 'Line.
'Line. Whew, my friend. Starting off quick here, Burger & Co. picking up an attacking round. The self kill from the Goyo canister coming out, making it a little bit more difficult for the Avengers to catch one. Having some fun with this though. The fact that we're getting to see this team play the open qualifiers here for Challenger Series is awesome. That anybody gets the opportunity to play, including the pros who want to come back after taking a little bit of a break. Love that we get that opportunity here for this team. So what we're going to do, run it back upstairs again, set it up, bring out basically that same lineup, a little bit of change up with the Mute and the Cade coming out, going to make it more difficult this for this attacking team to try and open up some of those walls with that breach denial.
Making sure that he didn't just get a gadget kill on just a very cool play. Yeah, Fett was down. He gets taken out on the PK by a released Goyo. That was a tough spot to find yourself. Not going to bring that this time. It's you said it, the double attention to the breach now. Making sure that the walls are going to stay closed. And that kind of becomes the win con for the top of 2F, right? Is making sure that you don't have a ton of angles on the other side to get caught while you're rotating back, because that's the play. You take a little bit of river presence, a little bit of connector presence, a little bit of electrical presence, and just start closing the gaps, funneling these defenders closer and closer until you've got a nice little spot to do some shooting in.
Working this a little bit slowly. You can see the standard take. We're gonna open that wall. Roth playing the Twitch this time. We see Twitch be very effective at trying to clear out some of this electronic utility. Plus the Brava, they're really leaning into the drone aspect of trying to clear out this utility rather than bringing along somebody like the Thatcher. They're using the impact EMPs from the Striker, though, as one of the alternatives. They should be able to get this wall open. How is this tricking working?
Doubled up on it, man. When you got a major winning coach trying to get the job done, they're gonna try for the K trick. That's not gonna be the case though. They're gonna finally get the first wall open, which means they've got one avenue in to start that attack, but you still got some gadgets to make up, right? This defense is built like an onion. There's plenty of layers to it. Once you get past that breach wall, then you have to get past the fenders, and then you still have got a mirror to back it up. And on the other side of that mirror, it's Beaulo, and he is watching, he's waiting, he's looking to get after it. Skittlz gonna be the first with his life forfeit here. Fett gonna fall closely behind it as Swift is able to take him off the board. Now puts us into a 5-3 scenario where they're still trying to get this back wall opened up.
Slowing down this attack a little bit, but in a 5v3 scenario, looking very good for this team. Was not expecting to have Burger & Co. leading over Fett and his assembled Avengers here going into Nighthaven at this point. Aiden's trying to even this up, getting a little bit closer, taking down Jigorku. Got this wall open now, lots of the sight lines in play. So who's going to hold on? Who's going to hold these angles? How aggressively is this team going to make the push in? They still have got a little bit of utility left, some flashes, some smokes, but Beaulo's going to take down Swifted.
That's right, and then get answered back. Some body shots are going to ring out. Aiden takes Roth off the board, which now puts us into a 2v1. The attack the defense looking to tie us up here. Going towards the back. Bravo not going to be able to be gotten up, and a shotgun in the hands of Oozie is going to clean that last play. Okay. Tied us up, Whiskey.
There it is. Tied up. Now, we had said just a few moments ago that we were going to see that 5v3 scenario thrown by Burger & Co. A little bit surprising. It looked like they had the upper hand, held the angles. Fett and his team just a little bit better at the end. Maybe not unsurprising, but unfortunate if you're a Burger & Co. fan. So tied up 4-4. Going to see them head downstairs to take assembly here for round 9. Bring out that breach denial again. We'll see how heavy. I expect a pretty heavy roam game here from Fett and his team.
Yeah, I imagine so. Right, trying to make sure that you catch somebody off guard, grab that man advantage, and then that disrupts the plan in a huge way, especially because if you're looking at the attack side of a Burger & Co., not necessarily bringing on some of that dedicated breach outside of the Maverick, who is not your standard hard breach player, more just trying to help facilitate that wall getting opened up. So we're going to see a huge attention to the vertical here. And then the OSA, right? Kind of hit or miss play here. There are certain
5
situations
seconds to
where
go.
he is really incredible at, and we've seen Osa played a lot in these last 2
Attackers'
quals.
objective
On
is
the
to locate
basement
a bomb
here
and
for
defuse
Nighthaven, we've seen it, but with a little bit of that hard breach to help back it up.
I love Skittlz bringing out the cap can as well. It's sort of middle of their defensive round, but so good. We have seen the cap can be an important part of holding on to these angles, and
A bomb has been
with
located.
a shot from behind the Osa shield. Well played, this Osa Mav combo. One of the few places I think that that maybe even Jesse would say Osa's okay to be played.
Potentially, right? That is the main advantage into the hands of Burger and Co. So, still got everybody mostly outside except for Roth, who has made his way up. Skittlz looking to get active towards this. Does take a shot, so the location is known. Might take somebody to switch up top with him. In fact, you can see it. There it is. Grim going to make the rotate to CC as they're trying to put the pinch move on here. They're going to find Skittlz off the board. Oozie's going to answer back as he finds the headshot onto Swifted. The main advantage is into the hands of Burger and Co. here, with plenty of time left on the board. A couple of vertical shots here. Almost finds one life forfeit, but not going to be the case. Instead of getting into the safety of hiding around the corner and taking their shot.
Yo, there it is.
Gonna hold it. And then there's the Skittlz cap can. As mentioned here before the round got it started, that's going to be the equalizer. So now we find ourselves 3-3 with 1:30.
I love the cap can kill. The 6th man coming out late round here, or middle if you want to think of it that way. Just taking down, shutting down the defense, or shutting down the attack. There's nothing worse than walking into a cap can from a mental perspective. It's like you knew that he
Attackers
was
have
there.
recovered their diffuser.
Such a mental chalk. Now, can this team pull together? Absolutely. They can find a way to win, and that's going to take down Aiden 1, but lose the fight to Beaulo. Oozie's going to take 1, so now a 1v2.
Beaulo finds the quick in this 1v2, so now into an old-fashioned 1v1. What a place to find yourself with 50 seconds left on the board. A low-health Beaulo that you have to take contention with. A couple of pre-fires, sends out a grenade, and now put yourself in a good spot to get the plant down. So a C4 is in the hands. They take a pre-fire, but you're going to rip Beaulo off the board to claim the score line advantage one more time. You're going to tell the grandkids about that one.
The 1v1 versus Beaulo, and you win that fight versus the Cage Shoddy. You're the king. Absolutely. Now, Burger and Co., they push themselves up one more round on the attacking side. And if you're just joining us, this is a single elimination best of 1 bracket here in the open qualifiers. This team absolutely has to win, and depends on who you're a fan of. The winner of this team is the only one moving on. The loser is going home round 1 with no more opportunity for Challenger Series open quals. This is the last opportunity for either of these teams to make that push in. So in a 5-4 as we head into round 10, Burger & Co. 1 round away from match point. I gotta say, my friend, this was a David versus Goliath scenario to start off with. I did not think we would be here on map 1.
Well, you know what? It's kind of something that you see in sports all across the world, is you have those teams that have played together, who are consistent, who have been in many battlefields together, and that is the side of Burger and Co., right? These guys, the core of them, have played together for a really long time. And then you go onto the other side of it, and then you have those all-star teams that just have every single big name known on it, which can be good when you're just getting into gunfights. But when you start to add a little bit of strats, it can get a little difficult because you're playing against a team who has done this together. So some of those things that you can't account for in your gun skill is being pushed 2 or 3 people at a time. So you get pinched off. Yes, you can find 1. Man, sometimes you can find 2. But man, when you get to that 3rd one who is pushing because the communication was extra and great, it just makes it a little bit tougher. Roth's going to be the first one taken off the board. Man advantage is going to be into the hands of the defense as they look to tie it up.
There it is, that opening pick for the Avengers. Gonna be Oozie taking that fight. A little bit of spread out downstairs, and Beaulo goes down again, putting us into a 4v4. Answered back with a minute into this round. Burger & Co. feels like they're moving a little bit slowly, though. They've got to pick up the pace. Yes, you take a fight upstairs, win versus the Malusi, but With less than 2 minutes left in this round, still got several people outside and on the first floor. They've got to work this vertical, and they don't have Oozie cleared out of this upstairs position yet. He's holding on to rafters.
That's right. He does take a little bit of damage, but he's got the P10, so it's quick shots. It's only a few of them, so they're just going to hold the angle and force him to make a decision, which, with a minute 30, could be a little bit of a pinch point, a little bit of a tough spot. So now they get back up to the door. They take a quick swing in, but they're ready for it. Oozie takes Swifted off the board. Man advantage back into the hands of the defense now as they find themselves up in a 4-3 scenario. Pings go out as they've made their way splash through River. He's going to be rewarded with a double. 11 and 5, having a career game at the moment. That's going to reclaim the man advantage. So now it's going to be Aiden and Fett left against the last 3 of Burger & Co. and 60 seconds in which to try to hold out.
No, what a flank coming out upstairs. I was about to say, you still have got 2 players upstairs holding down the 2F. That is extremely dangerous for the Burger & Co. right up until their top frag goes up and dominates that flank, takes down both of them in a hail of bullets. Now, it's, you said it, down to 2v3. Still a lot of defensive utility in place, but they're making their push. That C4 comes out, gonna catch one? No, 29 seconds left, my friend.
That's right. Now the push down the cargo stairs is looking to put some pressure on to Aiden here. They're going to find one, and Vector rings out. Aiden takes one down now into a 2-2. A quick swing, a pistol out, puts himself in a prone position, but a pistol off is going to reward Aiden for this pleasure instead. So now it is going to be Grim, and he is going to get taken down. Aiden good for 3 on the cargo stairs.
Damn, what an answer back from this team. I thought for sure, again, we were going to see another Burger & Co. round win, but unfortunately they go down. That's really 2 rounds that they have sort of thrown when they were right on the edge of winning, allowing Fett and the Avengers here to catch up, even this scoreline back up in a 5-5 scenario as we head into round 10. Now both teams 1 round away. Are we going to see overtime on our first round 1 game, my friend?
That's kind of what we're hoping for, right? I mean,
if
if we could ask for anything better in the last attempt for your path to pro, is that every game just be an absolute barn burner, a back and forth brawl for it all, and we're looking at it right here. You can't write this any better. Back up to the 2F to try it again, Whiskey, and this time they're going to stick with that double breach denial, both Cade and Bandit being brought along. They're going to try that tricking. This time, Cade going to maybe get those claws down a little bit quicker towards that main breach area. So if they can hold that out, things will start to fall apart for Burger & Co.
10 seconds to insertion.
Holding on now.
5 seconds
Love to
left.
say, they really are leaning into this double breach from a defensive perspective.
Attackers are moving out to
The
locate a bomb and defuse it.
Bandit and the Cade making sure that no one can make this push in. It has been successful. It's also fallen apart a little bit. We've seen it work both ways. This and the Fenrir trap outside here again has become, seems like, one of the favorites of the defending teams. Make this push up into that hallway a little bit more dangerous, but the counter, bring out the Twitch. Now that those are no longer bulletproof, Twitch is able to quickly clear those off.
Okay, and that's going to be Aiden to go down yet again. He was the first to fall the last time they tried 2F as the DMR rings out. Takes him off the board, swifted on the Nook. Having a bit of a back and forth here. He's going to take a shotgun approach, but just not going to be the case as the FNG is able to take Oozie off the board, and now they've claimed man advantage in a big way as they find themselves up 5-3 with really a ton of time to work with.
5v3, man, that has been the combo that we have seen throughout this game. Tons of these situations ending up in 5v3s. One of the team gaining a little bit of advantage, over-pressing it. You know, we've seen some of those win, some of those lose. Burger & Co. in the best opportunity they've had to put themselves on match point, but they cannot throw this away. They cannot just squander this lead that they've got against what is a tremendous content stack here.
Way up the river stairs. If he is not sussed out, he will be rewarded. Backing up is not even looking. Might even can get himself a knife kill here. No, there it is, the swing. He hurt him, but it's Beaulo, baby. He takes Swifted off the board. Skittlz takes another. Now we find ourselves into a 3-3 minute and 13 as it starts to count down, looking towards. They kept the wall closed this time, which just made it a little bit more difficult for this attack side to swing on in. Now they've taken control of the catwalk. They're going to make a swing on the Beaulo mirror, on Bolo's mirror play here. Does see him, a couple quick pre-fires knocking him out. Anything though, the Vector's are able to take him off the board. Man advantage back into the hands of the defense, as now it starts to get a little bit dicey here for the attackers. Is going to find one as the DMR rings out and claims Bolo's life, now into a 2-2 with 38 left on the board. Took up some space. Got a little bit of a call to action here. Roth is able to take Skittlz off the board. Now Fett, the last alive, he gets the down. He makes the swing around and almost has the play, but is taken down instead. And that's just what is on that coveted match point scenario.
Now, there was a comment in the chat that, Fett, we're not sure he's still a champ in Rainbow Six Siege. Maybe a better coach than a player. Right now, though, got in that 1v1 scenario, got very close again. Burger & Co. almost squandering a 5v3 advantage there with a minute left in that round. They managed to hold on, though, and send us to match point for the first time in round 1 of this Qual number 3 here for the Challenger Series. And if you're just joining us, welcome, everyone. We're near the very end of the first game, round 1 in this tournament today. 4 more teams going to qualify, my friend. Which one is it going to be? You see Burger & Co. moving on, or Fett's Avengers?
Question. Back up to 2F, and this time they're going to switch up the strat a little bit, Whiskey. This time Aiden's going to bring out some of that health. Whether you're 1-5 or 99, he'll bring it right back up to tip-top fighting shape. And because they're taking little bits and pieces off of each other, there's been a ton of players at a low health scenario. There was something to be said for going into or having the confidence to swing when you've got some health to play with. Not a bad call. We'll see if it plays out for him. Some attention to the roam game. Vigil going to be brought back onto the board, but other than that, it's going to be business as normal.
All right, here we go. Swifted bringing out the Thatcher Thermite combo there. We haven't seen this very often, even though Thatcher is available. Not really banned or played in competitive play very often. So many good operators bring along the Impact EMPs to really change up the style of play. But this time, they bring out that Twitch and the Stature. They're really making sure they don't have to deal with any of these electronic gadgets from this team. And peeking at the top of the stairs, who's it going to be? Who's going to win that battle? He's going to back off, though, as the C4 comes out.
Yeah, doesn't want to get caught slipping, slacking, and put sleeping. Now they're going to open up that main breach. EMPs are going to do their due diligence. Now start to put some little pressure on. No way! What just happened? Was he on his drone? He had to, man, that's a tough place to find yourself. You're Ash, your first entry, gone before you get in. Answered back, Roth is going to find Skittlz off the board. Swift able to take Fett down, and then Oozie goes down as well, and just like that, now into a bad spot if you're on the defensive side on a match point scenario. Beaulo and Aiden, the last 2 alive, in an attempt to make it through game 1 of Qual 1. So, now, Burger & Co. just need to be careful. Don't throw the bodies. Take these swings more than one at a time, and you're going to find yourself in a good spot. Aiden goes down. That's your health. Taken off the board. Roth going to take Beaulo.
No way!
Do it, my friend. They're going to take down Fett. They're going to take down Beaulo and Oozie, and they're going to move on in the Quals. What a play.
Somebody tell me that we got some prize picks out for that one. Juno picking up that MVP, 7-5 victory over Fett & Co. and the Avengers, coming out huge. What a game 1. What a game 1.
Okay, we take those. That's what we were talking about kind of in the midway point of that round is, this team, Burger & Co., that core has played together on quite a few different teams. It just makes up for having absolute gunners on the other side of the team. One of the greatest coaches to have done it, another hammer lifter, 3 non-schlubs for your other teammates, and you come out with the win. That's the magic of the best of one, is you just have to find it in the end. You just have to have that fourth quarter closing power and push through the gut check, and this time you're rewarded by taking down Beaulo.
Any given Saturday, any given open qual. I love the fact that Challenger Series is back. Now, before we go to break, I know we were talking a lot about the bracket. What was the path? How did you get here? How many teams there are? We'll show it again one more time. 3 open qualifiers, 4 teams each, plus the invited team we now know as Nightmare, the ex-SSG Academy team, plus 3 from LATAM. Those games are going on the mainstream currently. We don't know who's going to be in those LATAM 3 teams yet. We've yet to find out who's going to pick up that win before we get into the Swiss stage. And if you wanted to know who had already qualified, pull it up for you real quick. Core, Akron, JJ & Co, Revelations, M80X, Younks, Blackbeard Gaming, Karn & Co, now waiting to see who the 4 teams are that are coming from the bracket today. We're going to work on getting our next game set up, though, here. So it should be a short wait, just a few moments.
Yeah, because we made it through. This wasn't a 7-0, right? Contrary to what you saw in most of the other 2 quals that we put on, this one kind of went the distance, or almost did. Okay, we're going to get the lobby set back up, and as soon as we do, we'll be back with some more Siege. So sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you another map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. Well, if you're just joining us, you did miss the Beaulo Fett play. You did miss it. They did get taken out in round 1. On Beaulo's stream, he said it was kind of like playing a rank stack. They were just here for fun, obviously, right? I mean, they've been there, they've done that, but it's over and done for Team Avengers. That is for sure. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. What do you think about qual number 3 so far?
There was a lot of discussion in the chat about whether or not Beaulo was going to gatekeep the Challenger Series quals, but it doesn't happen. They have some fun with it. Burger & Co. goes on and wins. That's just a crazy statement to be able to make on stream. So, second in the chat, a lot of discussion about when does Stompin' play, when's M80X play. The answer is next weekend. Today is when we try and figure out who are they going to play. And it was a request to see some of the other console pros in the game. That is Steins Gate. Let's do it, man. Let's cast that game as well. So we are going to see an interesting team. Ha ha ha, take on Steins Gate.
Ha ha ha. Taking on Steins Gate. Okay, well, at least on the Steins Gate side, it's a couple of names that you've seen on the Siege Double Shot quite a few times, whether it have been in some of the other tourneys or the Roller Sundays. Either way, there's some familiar ones there.
Yes, that's right. Roller Sundays, and we got a chance to cast Corrupt a bunch of times as part of his run in the OCS back near the beginning of our casting careers. So going to be fun to see that. Clutter as well, we know from the Ha 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 side, one of the collegiate players that we have had on the stream. Part of the collegiate all-stars, part of the casting down at the Butler land. So looking forward to it. But between these 2 teams, where are they going? It tells a bit of the story, and I think this plays absolutely into the style from console and from collegiate together.
That's right. And so where are we headed? Oh man, take it all the way to the end. We're going to see Consulate as the best of one showdown here between these 2 teams. And honestly, I like it. I love Consulate. It has been such a fun map lately. Some of the strats that we've been seeing coming out are inventive. You're still seeing a bunch of that extensions. You're still seeing a bunch of investment into the roam game. There's some preferred ways to take these sites, right? Like 2F, for example. The Amaru in and out to get rid of Gadget Util, the admin overplant, the crosses set up. Like, Consulate is just a fun map. And a fun little whiskey lore for you guys. This map was the first rework that I had ever been through since starting to play Siege. Yep, Consulate, my first rework.
I love it. The fact that we're going back to the roots here, our first opportunity, but big name in the console scene, big in the collegiate scene as well. This map is going to be a banger between these 2. Now, as teams get ready, it's time, my friend. The band's coming out. Who's it going to be? We start off on round 2 of the Challenger Series.
Okay, so for Consulate, I imagine we're going to lean into some of those similar strats that we've been seeing coming out. The shields are just too powerful right now, and nobody wants to deal with them. So on the second one, it's really going to depend. Are you going to want to get rid of a shooter in the hands of Deimos, or something to open up on the Mav? Don't see really Mav a lot on Consulate. Or is it going to be the Blackbeard?
Going to be the Blackbeard. Yeah, you said it. The shields are just devastating. They're too much to deal with. People absolutely hate having to deal with them. It feels like you're always in that situation of, do we ban a shield or do we ban somebody else? And really, it seems like more than 50% of the time, teams are leaning towards the double shield ban at this point. So Monty Blackbeard gone, then Valk gonna go down as well. Valk was banned on nearly every single game that we watched M80 play over the last 2 qualifiers. They loved banning Valk. So easy to gain intel and allows you to move around the map a little bit more freely. Not surprising to see Steins, the other console pros, come out with a similar strat.
That's right, and the last to follow it up is just an operator that is very situational, but packs a freaking punch. Mira is gonna be off the board. And what does that do? That takes away that long game inside of the basement site, where they're not able to push in and get a plant down, because you have to worry about that Mira, because you have to worry about that potential C4. It can stop some of that verticality with that C4 as well. And then in the hands of the right person, it's a vector. That thing is just devastating in its speed and efficiency in which it kills. So Mira, Valkyrie, Blackbeard, and Monty all gone, which means to start us out, let's take it up to the second floor, kind of a standard here, and you're going to see a dedication to some of those gadgets, some of the things that are going to make it difficult for some of those strats that we talked about in the pre-show. Specifically, the Frost is coming on the board, and when you're bringing out the Frost, it means that the Amaru cannot just jump in and take space up inside of that second floor. It means you're going to have to work to get either a grenade or some sort of underneath play to be had. Now, the big question here is, how are you holding vending? Right, that is the great invisible wall, very much very similar to Skyscraper in the way that you have to make it past that initial barrier, and that is a deployable shield sitting on the vending area. How do you deal with that? Did they even bring one to the table? I think Frost did.
Yeah, Frost the only one bringing it out. So, from this perspective, watching this attacking team make the push up in, they're going to try the admin over. They're going to try holding on. You talked about that shield, such an important part of this defensive hold now. They don't have a lot of presence actually over on the admin side. Mostly sort of hold up here on waiting for the push, waiting for the angles over on the long desk, holding reception as the alternative. But sight lines being opened immediately. Mason running the ace. Love the operator that I love to see, that we've sort of seen more often too, the Twitch. And a little bit of a run out there, but Clutter going down, making the push out, loses that battle at the front door.
Yeah, that's a tough one to lose off the board. That means, especially it being so early into the round, hardly any of those Kiba barriers were able to be put into place. So 1, potentially 2, maybe a third that was able to be put out if they got it right there at the end. So tough pick to go down. Man advantage does go into the hands of the attacking team, as now they can take a second, get their drones in, and then start to push a little bit, or try to start to isolate somebody that's sitting all the way across.
All right, my friend. Minute 30 into this round. Still working the utility side on the Steins Gate side, opening things up, trying to clear things out. We see heavy drone usage here from this team, making the push in. They've already won that battle in the front door. We're going to take down the next, putting them in a 5v3 scenario. Boy, today is the day of 5v3s, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Quickly turns into a 5-2 as they hold the top of the stairs. That's a tough spot to come into. Now Frost takes the one off the board. Nomad goes down.
Yo!
From admin is able to find one, and that's going to be an attacker win off a Mason double.
Playing behind the shield, but has to walk out from behind it right into the waiting arms. Unfortunate, my friend.
All right, so finds one, takes them off the board. They get themselves a score, and it's on the attacking side. Consulate is a great defensive map. So if you can find your first one on attack, that's huge, my friend, right? You only need one more to hit your quota. If you end this in a 3 or more, your defensive half is just going to be smooth sailings, my friend.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs
Yeah,
as they
so
can.
and lots of talk in the chat here. Obviously, there is a name blurred out on our stream. Blast has issued a warning for offensive names. So tell me you're not going to qual without telling me you're not going to qual. The name is blurred out. We're not going to bring it up. There it is. He's gone. So sorry for your troubles.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, talk about it in the chat if you want. Funny that he's got the OG name. Unfortunate for his team, considering the warning that Blast did put out. So we'll see whether or not
10
this
seconds
hold this
left
team
before
back at
insertion.
all. It may not, considering the fact that Steins Gate looks
5
to be
seconds left.
the better team already. From a fumble defense up on the 2F to start this
Attackers
thing
are
out.
moving
So,
out to locate a
ha
bomb.
ha ha. Is the joke going to be on them? They're going to find a way to hold back Steins Gate. TBD at this point, but looking good, at least to start off here on Consulate.
Okay, try it up on the second floor again as hopefully Clutter can stay alive just a bit longer this time and actually utilize some of those Kiva barriers to run out, just not being effective on the last round. But they've already putting some pressure up near that direction, up near the Clutter yet again, as they're trying to get themselves into ad. Lots of pings going out right now. So they're trying to suss out exactly where this defense is at.
That's right, working the admin over here. Upside down repel. They're going to work on some of these angles as well. But this time, ready and waiting. Clutter, you're going to run out that front door again. Prepped with a Nomad this time, even though they won that battle previously. And taking it down the Azami early. Huge for this attacking team. But the Twitch just being a demon right now. Clearing all of this defensive utility and popping the Goyos. Twitch is over-indexed on how much he's influencing this round right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've made their way in and only have 2 members left outside of the building to do a little bit of droning. That's going to be the first to go down, as Legion is going to claim the first kill onto Gray. Nomad done, but they've got the air jabs out, so that passively put utility might still be a factor, at least for some of those run-out capabilities. Man advantages into the hands of HaHa as they look to try to hold on to this 2-up.
Minute 20 left at this point. You've got one of the attackers down. It's a 4v5, and there it is. Trying to clear this out. Takes out the Flores drone before able to push out this shield. Clutter's going to hold on to this angle from behind this shield right now. Stymieing this Steins Gate attack as this final minute winds down. Is the Flores drone going to come in, try and take it out? He's got one left.
And this is the tough part, right? You gotta find a way to deal with the shield, but no mute jammer there to be had. They're gonna be able to take that down. A quick pre-fire from Vending is gonna hold on to this position. Defense is up now by 2 as the attack has made their way into that halfway point. A couple of shots from the admin side of it, not gonna amount to anything, and they're gonna push around. Give them quick double rings out as the numbers get equalized as they start to make that push in. A shotgun in hand, but he's going to get taken down as well. Now puts us into a 3v2 scenario as the attack are back up with the man advantage. And a little bit of fire is going to push them towards that table.
Yo.
Double kill
Yo.
on the round. The headshot rings out. Man, triple. The guy is just having an incredible round. Good night. Sleep tight.
Just locked in right now. Absolutely locked in. I love to see that. And man, just doing the Lord's work out there. Steins Gate picking up a second attacking win upstairs. HaHa says not this time. We're gonna skip the play the basement. No more upstairs. See if they can hold on to maybe a little bit more of a defensive stronghold downstairs. See whether or not they're not changing this operator lineup, keeping it very consistent.
Attackers need to locate.
See, the thing is like I almost think that was the better place to start. 2F is the accepted, right? 2F is the best, like, for most teams, except for it's starting to hit that third floor cafe feel, right? It's got several strats that you have to do, several strats that you or boxes that you have to check when
Bomb
you take
located
that
by
space to
attackers.
go in and get yourself ready for an execute. So maybe heading down to the basement with a little bit of attention towards that, towards holding on to that verticality, it's just a little bit more difficult to find. So yes, 2F is the accepted first, but basement just feels better. On the
5 seconds
defensive
remaining.
side, what are they bringing to the table for this? It's going to be a mute onto that main wall. So almost just assuming that they're going to get the main breach opened up, but it will be slowed down. 2 Brow is on it.
Yeah, Two-Brow, we see him banned occasionally just because I think this still continues to have a little bit of a problem with the FPS bug. We still see that be a problem for some teams, for some players, depending on that configuration. So this time, though, he's going to make the appearance, and love that C4 over the wall. That thing has become absolutely devastating, must be dangerous to watch out for from the attacking perspective. They're holding, watching the secret side.
Gets me every damn time, Whiskey. That C4, I'm looking for it. I want to shoot it, and it just blasts you out of contention. A little bit different in the comp scene, I guess. That's why we talk about Siege. Blitz has made his way into the building now as he started to take up some of that space. Looking towards the shots from Secret with a Kiva barrier set up to try and slow them down. They did get some intel. Gray put himself back onto the Grim. They've got a chance to open up those hatches with can openers as well. And already you're going to see a little bit of damage done to the Ash as he takes a little bit of a poke, a little bit of a prod, trying to see exactly where the heck these last people are at.
That's right, making the push in, gained a little bit of space on the secret side, pushing up towards kitchen, running the shields. We got double shield band to start with. 1 left though, available, gonna play it. The defense trying to hold these angles, but Frost and Mutant about to get overrun by this defense. Now, Clutter on this rotate, the flank coming up. This could be the big changeup, could be the opportunity here for JAJAJA as we get close to that final minute of gameplay.
Okay, yeah, and you know it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. They're checking off all the boxes. They've taken up some of that space, and now Blitz is reduced to a very low HP as he tried for a push-up but found that his toes were not quite covered up. So we do sit 5-all, and the smokes are out as they're taking up that space, but the Goyos are in place to be able to slow this down as well. And they've got a 3-piece here, so the potential to really slow it down isn't going to be non-existent. He doesn't shoot the Flores and instead loses his life for it, and that's 2 to go down. So now Steins back into a 5-3 situation, and they have been stymied on some of that fire. But they're going to be able to make this push in, that's for sure. Now getting a little bit closer. The 2-Brow gadget goes off. Mute is going to be able to find 1 kill. Clutter gets taken off the board, so now into a 4v2 situation. 21 seconds left as they start to make the swing here towards that spiral hall. 1 is looking, 1 is shooting, and he's going to get taken down. Good night. Mute the last alive in a 3v1, and then, you know what? Let's turn it into a 3v2.
Yeah, just completely overwhelmed in the spiral hallway there, just shutting it down, making the push in. Well played from this Steins Gate team perspective, doing everything right on the attacking side on Consulate. You know, we see Consulate sort of go back and forth, really based on how each of the teams is playing, but the fact that we're seeing Steins Gate completely shut this team down on attack makes me definitely a little bit worried for the JAJAJA team. If you're a fan, unfortunately, this team's getting stomped right now. And that is, we're working on finding out who is going to play Stompin' in the M80X roster in the Swiss stage coming up next weekend.
I see what you did there. Yep, who plays Stompin'? Well, Qual 3 is going to try to determine that. So far, JAJAJA not getting quite the job done, really living up to their namesake, if you will, as it has been a bit of a joke for these first 3 rounds. They take it back up to the second floor to try again, but there has really just been no contest at this point. So what do they do to switch it up? Nothing. They're going to maybe bring out the Warden, which is a welcome adaptation, especially if you're trying to hold on to that deployable shield, right? The mute
5
jammer
seconds left.
hopefully get in a little bit better place this time where they're able to stop those Flores drones. Actually, they make the switch off.
Attackers
They're not going to
objective
go
is
for
to
that same
locate a bomb
strat. Going to opt for potentially using your ash charge to get it dealt with this time.
I mean, it's a little bit more of a direct route. That's just been working for Steins Gate, and I don't know that the Warden is the change that they're looking for, right? This wasn't a flash-heavy team. They weren't using the Blitz in that kind of way to totally gain space, gain real estate. I feel like something to try and slow this team down maybe would have been a better approach, but okay, they've got identifying where those frost mats are at. You still have got the Azami barricades in place, but I don't know whether or not Warden is going to be the difference maker. They've got a much heavier presence on the admin side, though. That's a change for the defensive side. Maybe that will be what, rather not the specific operator, but the play style being a little bit more aggressive hold from JAJAJA.
Yep, we'll see. C4 is out. Going to try to send one and could be rewarded with a double if he gets it into the right spot. Kind of looks like they're trying to bait it out right now. A Selma charge goes long, start opening up that hole. Yeah, they're going to force the defenders back to play it from a little bit of the longer angle instead. They did bring the shield, so there will be that vending presence. It's going to be the first off the board as Legion's going to go down. Put himself into a 5-4 situation very quickly. Grenades to ring in and force some of those defenders back. They're going to go ahead and make the switch, but unaccounted for. IQ goes down as Frost is able to find one. Frost looking at a second. Does a little bit of damage, but now has been stuck inside the corner. Has to make that play. More damage going out. She reduces that 75% of the HP, but we're equalized on the number count now. And that's a big part. Holding the admin. If you can't take that space, it's going to make that standard push just a little bit tougher. Maybe a bit of a redirect. Might have to go for something on the spiral side. That is going to be Mason going down as the headshot rings out, and now 64 on board as we sit in a 4v3.
I mean, they droned out admin. It seemed like they had a little bit of intel, a little bit of control, but then unfortunately Frost holding that great angle, able to make the push in under the smoke and loses the battle. Tinvi, oh man, now finally goes down, but in a 2v1 scenario and almost no health left with 40 seconds.
Yeah, it's a tough place to find yourself if you're on the side of Steins Gate, but be JAJAJA looking to find their first on the round and get it done on the second floor. But it's a 1v2. It's a one-shot headshot game, so the potential to find one is there, but instead it's going to be a shotgun that rings out. They're able to claim their very first round.
You know, after a dominating 3 rounds to start this thing off, the fact that JAJAJA was able to find one, not unsurprising. They managed to make it work. They found one. Is it going to be enough, though, to shut this team down long term? I will wait and see. It was because it was really off the back of some of that Frost play in the admin area, what seemed like a little bit of a misdrone. Steins Gate maybe not going to make that kind of a mistake again. This time, though, back downstairs to the basement. Round 5, 3-1 to start off.
And no, not today, Josh. We are in the third qual currently, so really trying to figure out who M80 is going to be playing coming up, as that Swiss stage is going to be starting next week, and you can find all of that action, of course, here on the Siege Double Shot. So this is to determine who Stompin will be playing against when it comes up. So on the side of the defense, they find themselves 1 round. And now take it back or take it down to the basement and try that again. Still bringing along really just the similar lineup. They're very comfortable in the operators outside of the change for Rooney can be brought out. A bit of that DMR.
You said it. I like that. I like that's a good change. Rooney in the DMR. Huge opportunity here for the JAJAJA defense, but Steins Gate, they had a good push in, heavy presence on the secret side, and then completely overwhelmed as they pushed in. Sort of ignored the garage side, really, and just focused on, didn't even really require a ton of ghost pressure to be able to win that round. So that to me just says how good this team is playing right now. Change up a little bit here from the JAJAJA side, and a slower start from Steins Gate.
Yeah, well, put a little respect on it. They found themselves a win by kind of holding some very key positions, and a miss drone was what led to that round 1 on the other one. So it makes sense the attack side will slow it down just a tad. Make sure that they're droning every corner, that they're checking underneath every single desk, so they don't have another situation where Frost is able to get away with a few that might not have been the case. So yeah, a little bit slower, but a little bit more information as well. You can see all the way up on the top. Clutter looking to try to place spoiler on the spiral stair area.
Very slow start. I know we talked about Steins Gate in general making a very aggressive push for most of these rounds. They're really sort of overwhelming this team. They're working the vertical now, but it has been a little bit of a slower start. They're changing up the play style here. Whether or not that plays into, I was going to say, into HaHaHa's hands, it doesn't. Joke's on them. Bray, the first one to take that opening pick. A little bit of a lead and some vertical control here, because right now you've got all of the defenders rotated back down, bunkered in the basement. Vertical control all open for Steins Gate.
That's right, and the Buck and the Ram going to be doing the Lord's work and opening up that entire floor. So push these defenders back into some positions that are a little bit less advantageous. So you can get yourself in and potentially start to go for that plant. Pushed in towards yellow. So now the vertical is had, and try to put some pressure onto these Kiva barriers, the person specifically playing towards that pillar. And you can see they're just kind of looking, they're just kind of waiting. And with 45 seconds, that starts to become a problem. They have the man advantage. One more will facilitate them a way to get inside and make that plant. They've got to chase this player off of the pillar position. So coming down, oh man, quick couple of shots, and they're going to get the down, and that's going to be huge for the numbers. Ace gets traded back, and now Dokeby goes down. It's the push up onto the pillar, looking towards the long angle, but Azami able to answer back. Triple kill rings out, now into a 2-2. Ash goes down, now into a 2-1, as they have made the push up, but it was a little bit of a tougher position. So,
oh wow!
Rooney starts making a couple of those shots, and no way, it's gonna be gray all day.
Missed the first opportunity, waited, caught the second. Rooney just sticking her head above the kitchen counter, and Steins Gate picks up another, goes 4-1 in the first 5 rounds. Man, really, we've seen only a little bit of success when HaHaHa capitalized off of a Steins Gate mistake. The problem is they haven't made very many at this point. Round 6, one more opportunity for this defense to try and hold on, prevent the 5-1 half.
Oh, man. Yeah, not a great place to find yourself, right? Clearly a defensive-sided map. So when you find yourself on the losing side of the half with you being on the defense, it just brings a tough second half coming in. Unless your attack game is unmatched, right? Unless you have brought some unforeseen aggression and I guess being able to hit your shots, win your ones, and do some isolating here. This one is looking like it might be over before Rip even started.
Yeah, 5-1 is going to be a really tough position to come back from. 4-2 manageable, but not in the way that they have been playing so far. Losing a lot of these rounds, some fumble defenses here, and they can make a comeback. They can make this change up, fight through it. Playing upstairs, a little bit more vertical presence here from the team, even though they're on the basement floor. Well, I was going to say it. Yeah, they do. They have 2 defenders upstairs on the first floor. No real roaming presence upstairs on the second floor, though, to try and put some pressure from a vertical. I don't know whether or not the bunker back down strat's going to work against this team. They've been very good at just flooding this. And from a roam clear perspective, Steins Gate was going to say they had somebody going up to the second floor. Dame was going to rotate back down, though, and maybe a little bit more of a direct take.
Well, I mean, if you can see that there's only 3 on site that you have to deal with, and one of them isn't even in there, right, on the yellow stairs, the pinches can start to happen very rapidly, and then all of a sudden you find yourself with a little bit of an easier situation making the push in. So we do sit 5-all as the first minute has counted down. Just want to say thank you so much for the raid, Guns. We really appreciate it here as we're watching right now. Steins Gate taking on HaHaHa. Beaulo and Fett stack already out as they got round 1.
Yeah, the piece that you missed, and we're glad that the EU crowd coming in to watch. I know the EML Quals, Guns covering all of those games, picked up a few huge raids earlier on in the day. We were hanging out with them for that. Love that you made this change over. And the first round, the game that you guys missed, Fett and Beaulo, Avengers Assembled, took on the open quals here in NA. Unfortunately, though, they lost. Now we get to watch the Steins Gate, more of the Console X pros playing here against JAJAJA, and they've really been dominating here to start this thing off.
That's right, but there's the equalizer. As they're able to find the Deimos down. Corrupt goes off the board, and a little bit of a blow there. They do get the equalizer, but it's now 65, and they've got a tough spot as those Selma charges didn't get the job done, and there aren't any more. So they were able to impact trick that last one down, not letting it fully open itself up. So in a little bit of a hurry up and wait position now as they're trying to redirect, reassess, and find the better way to do it.
43 seconds left. Tons of time left for both of these teams. You're stacked 4 apiece. There's that intel coming out from the Dokkaebi identifying where all the defenders are, but I don't know that that is the important piece. Mason goes down to the shoddy, but quickly answered back. 27 seconds.
That's right, and the pressure now starting to mount for Steins Gate here as the ace goes down, so the main advantage is into the hands of the JAJA.
Yo!
Onto the triple kill now as he finds himself alone. Ash, 9 and 2, is going to be dealt with, and break out the barbecue sauce as Burr's going to go crazy with that 4-piece.
All right, we wondered whether or not it was going to be a 4-1-half. Was it going to be a 5-1-half, or were they going to pick up that 4? In this case, they managed it, got 2 on the attacking, on the defensive side. Still a very definitive round there for Steins Gate. 4-2 half. Now they get their opportunity to defend Consulate. They're going to start upstairs.
Okay, time to switch gears. The op swap, Whiskey. What is JAJAJA gonna do on the attack side of it? Here's what we're gonna need to see. Some stuff that we haven't quite seen from them yet. We need to see a little bit better communication, right? We need to see them isolating any of these roamers out. They have got to claim that man advantage quickly, or if their time management is not on point and collecting that first kill and getting inside of sight, this is just going to be a tough play. Take it up to the 2F to start it. It's a little bit of a standard here.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
And in a one-man production crew, there's only so much you can do, but trust me, we tried. From the JAJAJA side here, setting up for the attack, what are they going to do?
10 seconds left before insertion.
Oh, what a recovery on the Kiba. That was funny. I don't know that I've seen that before, but Mason, Bray setting up top. Gonna have any sort of a extension or roam game downstairs. They did not bring out a deployable, so they're gonna sort of avoid the vending side. Maybe put more pressure direct on this team on the admin side before they can even make the push over.
That's right. Use those Fenriers, right, and the Kiba barriers to really settle in and generate some of that static warfare that can make pushing that vending area so difficult. So the mute is on the board. They do have the Kiba barriers, and they've got the Fenriers to potentially slow it down. You saw one of those at least sitting on that admin stair. So Twitch going to get a drone in and take a look, and really specifically trying to get those Fenrir gadgets off the board. First one is going to be gone, and now they know they've got a little bit of a presence at the top of yellow, and they're 4 stacked up.
Covered the bomb diffuser.
Back up to the roof, Whiskies. They trying to get their drones in. A little bit of a reassessment, reaggress. They got to find out where they're at, and instead, it is going to get one taken off the board as Ace is able to find the Fenrir on the run out, just holding his position on the Aussie rappel, and he's rewarded for that. Second fall now as Gray goes down.
No.
Oh, and another, as we just see the attack really getting active. So what we said we needed to see from them, they're absolutely doing it. And that is going to be Mason to find one and get taken off the board. Corrupt to find one, but immediately traded as Clutter's able to take them. So what we needed to see is that communication. They needed to isolate. They needed to grab those first picks, and they needed to do it in a timely manner. On this round, they did it.
To me, they pushed in more aggressively, and that certainly worked for them in this case. Aggressive, aggressive attack upstairs seemed to be something that was upsetting Steins Gate. When we look back at sort of the history of this game so far, they were dominant the first 3 rounds, and after that point, they've only won 1 of the last 4. So they've sort of fallen off just a little bit at this point. We know that they can certainly come back, but bringing out more of that aggressive attacking style seems to sort of push Steins Gate off center just a little bit. So what are they going to do to adapt? How are they going to change this thing up? The Malusi, the Goyo, the Smoke, the Legion, yeah, all slow down. And I think this is going to work for this team.
Yep, well, we'll find out together as they start to set up. It's a good adaptation. The thing is, I think the very first part, the tipping block, the domino that started that last round was Fenrir trying to get active on the run out. Thought he might catch somebody on the drone, but they were waiting for it, right? They just had an Aussie Repel sitting, watching the breach specifically for that. No any action. So claim that main advantage, and then it started to domino. They do maintain that score advantage by 1. Looking to put them close to a match point scenario here. Let's see if this adaptation plays out.
And they're gonna push it as aggressively. I don't know. I would love to see this this attacking team sort of question: are they gonna change their strategy up? Looks like putting ghost pressure sort of all over the place. You take a look at where these blue outlines are. They are everywhere, right? But no real focused front at this point, and doing a lot of work right now on the utility side, opening everything up, gaining some of this intel, but a little bit of late round gadgetry placed by Steins Gate as well to try and counter this information game.
That's right, and you can see Ash has already made their way into the building as they sit on that first floor in the lobby, hoping to catch somebody rotating back around and maybe put some pressure up at the top spiral, specifically trying to get that, potential vending player off the board. There's going to be the first one. Gray goes down, or Gray finds the first one, and it's going to be the Deimos.
Yeah, huge opening pick there for the defense, taking down the Deimos. A little bit of that intel. They're going to have to rely on the Dokubi. Very successful late round on the last time, being able to try and identify, give some information, but losing the Deimos, all the vertical. Deimos so good here on Consulate. That's a big loss for the team. Now, still stacked up, 4v5 as we get into the minute 20 left in the round, so much slower pace here to start off.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, with only a minute and 13 left, there are some Bs that are going out. Some intel is to be had on the Legion, and in fact, they're going to double up and get the Doke Bs to come out. So now they know exactly where it's at, but they're still mostly outside of that. Ash who's taken up residence at the top of Spiral Stairs. Vector's going to take the hero of the last round off the board, and now puts us into a 5-3 scenario, 52, which means Ash is going to have to start making that push up, but effectively dealt with as Corrupt is able to take him down, now into a 5-2. Clutter and No Name on the board to try to close this one out. There goes Clutter, all going to be on the shoulders of Ace. He's going to be dealt with as the round is
flawless round to start off with, and thank you very much for the gifted subs. I know there was a lot of, you may have been seeing it around Twitter and on Twitch. A little bit of a sale on gifted subs, 35% off all weekend. We certainly appreciate y'all hanging out with us, being a part of this cast, being a part of the NAL, and seeing who is stomping, going to play next weekend here on the channel. That'll be the question. Steins Gate, going to be them. They're going to have this opportunity. We're going to see the console pros go up against each other when we get to that point. Maybe, my friend. Has got to put up a couple extra rounds.
We relive a Roller Prime matchup, potentially.
Attackers need to locate.
What a world that would be to live in.
No kidding. Great for the storyline. You can't write the scripts better than this, my friend. Steins Gate now 1 away from that coveted match point scenario. They take it down to the basement, and they're going to be focusing on the slowdown, right? Fenrir back on the board, and really with that Fenrir, you're looking to cut off some of those off pushes, right? The secret push, the push down bottom of spiral, and potentially down those admin stairs or Visa stairs. Basically, those Fenrir's going to cut off all of that back, and then you have Bandit and Two-Brow. They're going to really focus on keeping those hatches and that main breach sealed up and closed, and effectively cutting off all of those big, huge angles that get brought up. Sorry, got distracted by the gifted. We appreciate all the subs, so we're answering back. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
That's right, as we're working here, getting into the first minute of gameplay. Big rotate there from the Fenrir, trying to find one upstairs, but a little bit of a spread out presence, a lot of upstairs, even on this first floor. So from the defensive, but Clutter gonna find Bray. That's a huge pick, being the top frag on this team, taking him down, and then a double. Wow, Clutter coming in clutch, holding on to Piano.
Yeah, absolutely huge double that rings out from there. Now they're going to bring it back up to the vertical, but man, the damage has been done. 5-3 with 66 left still on the board. Huge. Oh. Thank you so much, Lambo, for the gifted. We really appreciate you hanging out with us and gifting those to the community. You freaking rock. What do they do, Whiskey? How do they bring it back? Just really got to slow them down. Find one, find two.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you're sitting in a 3v5. Got to play much more careful. And look at this, playing the vertical still upstairs. It's a little bit dangerous. It's a basement site. He's holding on upstairs, but that is the plant going down. A lot of opportunity here from Haha. Triple kill from Clutter coming out. That was the upstairs player as well. So now you've got Just Corrupt and Mason holding on. This round, my friend, might be unwinnable right now. All this intel coming out from the defense, and unfortunately a missed shot on top of it. Mason gonna go down. Corrupt has got the opportunity. Not gonna happen though. Was that a 4K from Clutter?
Is he three or four on the floor? Not sure how he got, or which ones he actually ended up pulling off, but it is going to not be the case for Steins Gate. Is there one closer to being tied up? Ha ha ha. Just one round away from sending us to 5-5 and looking at another kind of late round. No more of those 7-0s that we saw in Qual 1 and 2 here, Whiskey.
Yeah, well, we were watching M80X in the first two quals, who absolutely dominated those brackets. They lost one round to JJ and Co. The only place that they lost anything. After that, completely dominant throughout it. So yeah, most of this Challenger Series quals has been an unbelievable 7-0, 7, like just a few rounds won by the opposing team. This time they're not in it, so it's a little bit closer. We already got to see an almost overtime on that first one, going the full 12 rounds. Steins Gate looking to shut this one down, one round away from match point, but not to be denied. They're working on finding their way. Can they tie this thing up here on round 10?
You're right. The first two quals were very focused on M80X, and they just like the 7-0. Kind of one of their play styles. Really gets into your head if you lose all of your rounds, every single one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That team is just so dominant. It's hard to even talk about what would be like without them in that qual, because they completely dominated that in all of the games that we got a chance to see. Like we said, JJ though made it. We do have the top 8 teams. You want to see who those are. There's a command on in the channel to be able to see who those 8 qualified teams are. Now, who's it going to be here? One more opportunity. We're in Qual 3 if you're just joining us. Single elimination, best of 1 bracket. Steins Gate looking to make their way in. We're going to see some more console pros here in the Challenger Series. Though, trying to shut them down as they make this push in. Just about 2 minutes left in this round. The first one gone. Boogie coming in. I love that. I love the Boogie drone. One of my favorite gadgets. So just creating chaos as a part of it, and so good at opening the vertical angles up.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Gray was the first taken off the board as Clutter's starting to get activated here. Was able to find one, claim that man advantage, and now as the time starts to count down, they kind of being put into a little bit of a hold pattern. That's going to be Bray to take Clutter down as the numbers get equalized there. Now putting us into a 4-4, swing towards yellow is going to take him off the board now into a 4-3 scenario. The minute and 36, so still got somebody close at the top of Spiral, but we've still got defenders playing up on the second floor. Only 2 down below. They have to take him out, or that flank, which has proved to be so dominant here, is going to be effective yet again. Here's the pinch. They're both coming up onto the bathroom. Now it starts to hear the Dokkaebi call goes out. Takes a swing, Fenrir. They got a second there, looking for it, and they're going to take him down. They do get it. Burr finds it and now puts us into a 4v2 situation with 64 left on the board.
I mean, he was wasting time upstairs in the bathroom doing exactly what he needed to, but unfortunately losing that battle, the double pinch coming out. It was the right play, unfortunately just not winning that battle, but Mason up through the floor. The vertical works both ways, shutting them down. Now, unfortunately, no C4s left on the board either between Mason and Corrupt. Still got this three piece. There it is. They take down one. Is it going to be fast enough? Oh, he goes for the wrong wall.
The wrong wall. Oh, tough position. Almost was able to keep that closed up. So now they've got the main breach open. Now they've got a little bit of verticality established, and now they're trying to suss it out with the bees, right? Figure out exactly where he's at to take a quick swing. Mason able to find another one with that shotgun.
Yo!
And that's going to be a double. Good for 3 on the board now as they find themselves in a 2-1. Dokkaebi making the push up, takes a couple of swings towards the rotate. Not going to be rewarded, but is going to get taken down as we're going to break out the barbecue sauce for another 4-piece. Mason going absolutely crazy and put him on that match point scenario.
That's right. Game 2 of the day, round 2. Steins Gate match point scenario off the back of a 4-piece. What a play. Great round here from Steins Gate coming out. Now has their work cut out for them. They had a couple moments of brilliance. They won one upstairs. They won one in the basement, but both times they won a site. Steins Gate answered back with the answer. So now we've seen the 2F twice here on this defensive half. Again, once by the Jokers, once by Steins Gate. Who's it going to be the third time we see the 2F site? Right now, if you put your money on Steins Gate, it's looking like a good bet. Big question, though, is those opening picks and the man advantage. Can this... Steins Gate was pushing the advantage, losing some of those early picks, and then having to battle back a man down. When they stay ahead, I think they're unbeatable.
Okay. Perfect for 2 is what you're saying has to happen. Oh, there we go. Dang it. As it went down. Yeah, got to see him change something up. What do? I mean, they did it when they found that early entry, when Clutter was able to activate. Kind of worked out a little bit, but man, you're just really going to... I'm not sure, right? They're thinking shield is going to be the play here, but I don't know if that's exactly going to be enough. There's a ton of slowdown on the board, including Malusi's, Fenrir's, Lesions, Goyos. So almost assuming that a quick is going to be happening, they brought enough utility to slow it down. And yeah, Blast had the warning, y'all, not us. Blast had the warning. We're just making sure that we don't get in trouble for his dumb move, or whatever move. Maybe it's not dumb. I think it's stupid, but...
Yeah, you know, the OG name, back when you could, you know, there was a little less restrictions in play. But Blast has made that warning. Don't pick... be careful with your name and team choices. Just a warning for anybody that wants to play in these calls going forward. Whether it's the NAL, whether it's SI, they're all going to get covered here on the Siege Double Shot for sure. We want to keep your team in this thing all the way to the end. Make that win count. Don't get disqualified for something stupid. Now, with a minute 50 left in this round, all 10 left alive. We haven't seen Steins Gate not taking too much of a risk, holding on, winning some of these battles. This attacking team, though, making the push up yellow behind the shield. Got the blitz in place.
Oh, man. And a jump out from the defense is going to reveal a location, which they know is going to be coming up from the stairs. Blitz has made his way in. Lots of intel, but they've kind of been put in a stuck hold, kind of waiting for some of those other players to get into position to be able to deal with some of that fire that's come up. Now, a couple of shots towards the feet. It is going to be Bray to find one off the board. Main advantage does go into the hands of Steins there as an impact goes out. Now, Blitz just slowly making his way up, but what are you doing? He backs right into that, knowing that there's pressure onto the bathroom. So Clutter able to make up for that mess, but Mason now on the double with a double vector kill. Huge play, now into a 4v2, the last alive being Ace and Clutter to try to bring this one back.
And they got their work cut out for them with 45 seconds left in a 4v2. Steins has all got this thing but wrapped up. Got to take down 2. Clutter has been unbelievable. Some of these situations, he's the man to watch out for.
That's right. Now the push up to yellow is going to start to put some pressure onto the defense. A BP is going to ring out. There's going to be one taken off the board. Good for a double. Clutter goes down as Gray's able to find him now into a 2v1. The last hope's alive. Fenrir runs across as they make their way in, but they've got Diffuser at the top of yellow. So he's going to have to take an engagement on 2. He makes the run over. 15 seconds left. Fenrir Gadget taken down. Has to have the swing. Legion's going to get taken down as Gray's gone. It's on to the triple kill. 9 seconds left. Takes a shot from the back. Not going to be able to find it, so he gets the plan. He has to stick this to be effective, and now a little back and forth. He doesn't even have to take the swing. That's going to be a good night and a good
Yo!
Sheesh.
What a way to win it at the end. So close to having the 4K. Unfortunately, though, if you are a ha fan, Steins comes up huge. Big GG's to this team for winning round 2. Man, what a run for them. 7-4 victory, and yep, even though you know, there was a little bit of blurring going on, we had some fun with it still, my friend.
That's right. We did our best, right?
Hell yeah.
Sorry, Plastic wasn't us. We didn't do that. All right, folks, that's 2 down. We've got 2 more potential rounds to bring to you. And maybe we might be looking towards following this team. You guys definitely asked for it in the chat. So we're going to see what's coming up and get some folks back into the lobby to bring you some more of that Challenger Series Siege. So sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you a 3rd map. Heyo.
Let's go.
What's up? Welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are back with a match number 3. It is the 3rd Quals, your last chance to put yourself on the path to pro and walk through the gateway to greatness. But first, you've got to get past Steins Gate and Homeless, which is our next match coming up to you.
That's right. And if you've been asking, when does M80 play? When does Stompin' play? Well, they have already qualified. We'll show you those teams real quick. 8 teams have already qualified. Core, Akron, JJ & Co, Revelation, M80X, the Unks, Blackbeard, Karn & Co. Those first 8 teams that have qualified. Now, from who's left? 1 more open qualifier. Number 3, the last opportunity here for 4 more teams to make it in to find out who is M80X going to play in the Swiss stage. It's coming up, but only 1 team can make it all the way to the NAL affiliate. And I did a check, my friend. 7 games required after you start the Swiss for a perfect run to win that spot. There is a ton of Siege left and available to be able to make it through. You have to play 7 more, at least best of 3s, in order to even reach that qualification spot. Kind of crazy to get to that point, my friend.
Yeah, but when you're talking about the Pro League, is it you have to do 7 or there's only 7 more to go until you're at your pro spot? I mean, because honestly, that seems like a path that is ridiculously tough to get there, and to be able to do it in 7 more games feels like a W, my friend. Feels
That's
like a
right.
W.
Speaking of more games, we've got the next one. Homeless taking on Steins If you're with us there for the round 2 game, you've already seen this stack. They're ready for round 3, taking on some friends of ours, people we know and love, Sibwe, Beaulo, Blake, Shots, and Genova. We got pictures with most of these guys when you're out in Boston here for the SI, so can't wait to see how they do up against this console pro stack.
That's right. It will be a tough uphill climb, but where does it start? Well, we haven't seen a repeat map yet.
Let's go.
Bank gonna be the next place that we're going, the next one on the board, but it has some of those similar feels, right, to both Nighthaven and Consulate, and the fact that it is big, it is spread out. There will be investments into the roam game. I imagine we'll see Vigil back on the board, who was really just very effective on Consulate, being watched earlier. So it's Bank. It feels like a decider map, and in a best of one, that's what we're getting.
That's right, one opportunity. It is best of one banger between these two. Single elimination bracket, no opportunity for loss. You have got to win here right now in order to make your way into the playoffs, my friend. So who's going to do it? Is it going to be Steins Gate? Is it going to be Homeless? About to find out, my friend. The bans are starting now.
That's right. So, also, just a quick thing: we are giving away a Rainbow Six Siege headset. It is signed by the talent from the Boston Six Invitational, Siege Invitational. So go on to the Siege Double Shot Twitter, find yourself eligible for that. All you got to do is follow the YouTube and follow the TikTok. Right? Easy. And that's, of course, where we've got those stomping replays, the clips, and also, of course, the highlight feeds from those games as well. So go head over to the Siege Double Shot Twitter. Get yourself eligible for that giveaway, because it's coming up real soon that it won't be there any longer. We're going to pick a winner. So, all right, back to the bans. No surprise on the first one, Whiskey. Monty taken off the board, but Ying going to be the first to go.
Yeah, interesting choice. Ying has been, I would say, effective, but not essential to most of the attacking round. So you said Vigil likely to be played as a part of Bank. Not today. Homeless bans him out. So a couple of interesting bans from this team. Not really feeling like the standard, what we've seen here for year 10, season 1 to start this thing off. And I kind of like that it's changing up the flow of the game. See whether that's enough to upset what was really a surging Steins Gate team.
Okay, so I said it in the pre-show, which means, of course, they're going to ban it out instead. Vigil off the board and gone. No Boss G, at least on the defensive side of it. So what does that mean? Whiskey, fingers crossed. Does that mean maybe we get to see a Cav? Probably not, but I'm hoping.
I think it's unlikely we're going to see a Cav. It doesn't matter how much you want her to be a part of it. My friend, it seems unlikely here, even on Bank, one of the big maps.
Hunger strike until they start playing Cav. Okay, well, not hunger strike. I'll eat twice a day. Well, you have to. Once a day, I will not eat once a day until Cav.
Used by attackers.
I guess that's not how it works. Amara going to be the first on the board for the attack side. So they're going to go into that space-taking operator. Get up onto the 2F, clear it out quickly. Make sure that you don't have a huge roam game being played here. That's one of the things that Bank offers, right? You can put some action up on the second floor, followed up with some action on the first, and then a drop back down in the site through one of those main hatches. If you choose to open that up, a lot of teams are giving that yourselves that avenue quick back, saying that the hatch will be a foregone conclusion. If you install enough time up on the second floor, it becomes a pretty viable strategy.
Attackers are moving to defuse a bomb.
Okay, on the board for the defense. Gonna get ourselves a little bit of intel as Valkyrie gonna be utilized. We saw her banned out on a ton of different maps, especially on the first couple of quals. M80 is just not wanting to deal with that. Valkyrie, but she's gonna be utilized here. Also, the Mira, which will make it difficult for that late round. But you can see they are extended up top here, Whiskey. They brought themselves operators and an avenue back down, so it's gonna be solely based on the time waste.
I mean, Steins Gate played very aggressively from a defensive perspective on Consulate. We just saw them win 7-4 if you're just joining us. This team on, obviously, in a best-of-one single elimination bracket. You got to be on a winning streak to make it this far. But certainly they seemed to put up a very big opener for that last map. Working on it this time around now. From the Homeless perspective, taking it easy, pushing in, searching the upper floors, looking for all of these players. They've got some intel, using the IQ, making sure they can find all of these drones. Steins Gate they've got a huge first floor presence here. 4 of the 5 upstairs waiting. Just nobody walking into the gun of a Homeless player yet.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, right? That's why you bring along the Mira, is so you can hold that the entirety of site just almost solely by yourself. Nate goes down the stairs, forcing the players back on that marble area, and now they're going to open up that hatch to start looking down onto the first floors. They've claimed that second floor presence, which is good. They've got a little bit of that space, put some verticality onto these players, and there's going to be the first. Nova gets taken off the board, answered back by Blake as we find ourselves now in an equalized number sense. It's going to be IQ to drop down the hatch. He's able to find, or not drop down the hatches. There is going to be a hatch drop as IQ gets taken down.
Yeah, a minute left in this round, 3v4 right now. Homeless trying to make something happen, find one. The DMR ringing out, taking down Mason this time. So they've gained a little bit of the control here, trying to force this team finally back down into the basement. All three bunkered back down, but everybody upstairs from this attacking team with 45 seconds left. They're going to need to work to make this happen, but the C4 comes up through the hatch, takes him down.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Yep, that's right. So that's going to put the main advantage into the hands of Steins Gate. As now they just get a rest in that trade game. Now they get to slow it down and wait for that potential hatch drop. They've claimed that space, one to equalize and get yourself ready for the plant, but you've only got 23 seconds to do it. So taking the scenic route is they're going to take the server route. Put down the stairs, get ready for the drop down to the hatch. No play in there from the server side. They've kind of just held back onto the mirror area. And they are able to allow to get inside, start to make the push, and Blake's going to find Corrupt off the board, equalizing into a 2-2. A 2-2-1 is great. Finds it on the triple. Great, good for a quad piece on round number 1.
Wow, what a way to start this off, a 4K. Now, I thought for sure that attacking team was going to get the diffuser down. They managed to gain that control. Felt like they were approaching it very slowly, but obviously, in the end, Steins Gate comes up huge. The double coming out there at the end to kill the planter, finish them off. Boy, a little bit of a back and forth, a little roller coaster of emotions to start this thing off, but Steins Gate picks up round 1 in the basement, and rather than go to the second floor, sort of the standard round road, they're going to pick up the tertiary and play staff open second.
I like it, right? We sometimes talk about the second floor as kind of one of those solved areas. It's a lot of teams start out on that second floor. So, yeah, down to open, switch up the strat a little bit. Still going to hold the second floor like the site is up there. So if you're going to be doing that anyways, why not just make it incredibly difficult to get inside, claim that verticality, make them fight most of the fight up there, and then drop back down, similar to what you just watched on the basement. Right? They started on the second floor, they rotated down as they gave up space, and then just slowly kept rotating back down into sight until it was a full bunker, and then just impossible to deal with 20 seconds left on the board. They're looking to employ a similar strat here on the open area.
Yeah, not having enough control, not having enough assets in place to try and make that 20-second meta work. So, Homeless, what are they going to change up? Bringing out the OSA, and OSA, the first floor on Bank, again, one of those few locations, I think, where she at least has got a chance to be useful. We've seen her be used successfully now. The change-up, interestingly enough, from this defense, Azami's available but not being played. She's another one of those operators that is extremely good on this particular site. Most of the sites on Bank for sure, but that first floor particularly good at trying to hold on to the kitchen cafeteria side. So, Homeless, we got to see what do these guys need to do. We're just seeing them for the first time on stream. Maybe a little bit quicker at trying to get this execute set up. Steins Gate a little bit more spread out this time, so they've got a lot more to deal with. And unfortunately, from them, Tribune ready to open it up.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if first floor is the OSA play here. Right, like, yes, there are several spots on different maps that it is a good idea to maybe bring that along. Clubhouse on the cash CCTV side or the gym side, right? Not a bad play to bring it. But here, I don't know. There's not really that effective area where you're pushing in and claiming that space and then holding. You have to put them both down, and it just falls apart for the attack side. All now put into a 5v1 situation, and they've got the Q that he's up top. Takes a couple of shots. Is going to be rewarded for it as Beaulo's able to take Gray off the board. Now into a 4-1, but man, a tough hill to climb here, and now they're looking towards that main area. Got a little bit of intel. Takes the... Oh, I thought he fell. Just ready, waiting,
Boy, and just padding his KD. I think that is 6 in that first 2 rounds there for Gray. A hell of a start. They got close at the end, and oh no, I was going to say, it looked like we had a disconnect. No, not the case. So Steinsgate picking up 2 on defense. A little bit of a defensive-sided map here, Bank, but the difference is Steinsgate putting up a bit of a show right now. So Homeless has got their work cut out for them. Let's see what they change it up. Bringing out the Dokkaebi, the Grim. Got some of the shields available too, right? We
Defenders,
didn't
protect
ban
your
out
bombs from being
Blackbeard, so I
defused by
wondered whether or
attackers.
not we would see him as a part of this attacking lineup.
Yeah, well, maybe like you talk about on the Zombie, just so used to it not being an option that they didn't really build any strats around it potentially. But yeah, with a Blackbeard, it would be great to see a spearhead being brought out, somebody that can take that space and still be that impactful player in the later part of the round with that AR. They are going to go into the hands of some intel. This is something you talked about a lot before, Whiskey. It just the surprise, the amount of time that
10
Zero
seconds left.
isn't the operator chose because of all that intel that he can bring to the table.
5
6
seconds left
SAM
before-
cams, and in the hands of the right person, incredibly difficult to deal
Attackers
with.
are moving out to locate a bomb.
I
and
thought
defuse it.
absolutely when that buff came out, we would see a ton more Zero play, but still the players not thinking that's enough to make him worth it. I mean, the MP7's a fantastic gun on top of it, so it's interesting that you're choosing some of the more, the other more, I don't know, maybe more direct operators. So Blake bringing him out, we'll see how this changes it up. You said it, 6 SAM cams, that is a ton of intel for this team, and they're fighting Corrupt on the Valkyrie. She's left available, so they're going to have all kinds of opportunity here. This is going to be an intel matchup on the second floor of Bank, but how about watch out for the run out?
Yep, and that's going to be the cross setup from both sides. They're able to answer back, but that's your intel gone off the board, at least on the side of the defense. You know, Tribune was still able to get those Goyo canisters down, right? Still has some of that utility that can be used as a 6-man later on in the
Bomb
round.
located
But they're
by
going to be
attackers.
potentially made quick work here by the Flores drone. It's just able to get a ton off the board. That's Goyo's gone. That's a deployable shield gone. That is a ton of work put in by those repairos.
Look at this.
Push
Wow.
up from the top. Yeah,
Gray
let's go.
walking right into the open arms of Sibwe, waiting for that. I mean, almost baiting him into that play. But it's a 3v4, but Kaiju just has got almost no health left. Very, very low here on the ace. Still got a little bit of work to be done. Still 2 of those Selma charges left. Identifying the Valkyrie downstairs, waiting for that C4. They're going to have to deal with her before they really make a push for this execute.
Yeah, but they caught her with a drone, so it is able. Oh man, Legion's able to find one. That's going to be the equalizer. So she didn't know that she got sussed out, but still going to be an impact player. Flashes go out as the Habana takes a ton of damage. The rotate around to main, going to take a quick swing. Is going to be rewarded for the efforts as they now put themselves into a 2-2. But it's a low health situation. Habana, the last alive, got to be perfect on the headshots, or this round will be over yet again for Steinsgate. 50 seconds left. They've got the intel. They know where sitting at, and they're going to be able to find it. 1v1. We said they had to be perfect. Going to have to do the same thing here as they've got the Kiva barriers set up. It's going to be the vending hall focus.
No
And
way!
Goo is going to do it. Gray is going to find the kill because the health was just so low. Global Gadget of Finko would have come in handy here.
The siege poetry coming out from the end. There's Gray 8-1-1. Boy, not even letting the rest of his team get any kills, just taking him all for himself in the first 3 rounds. Homeless, I like the choice of taking the timeout, approaching this like you have one opportunity to qual for Challenger Series. This is it. You lose this game and you are out.
Yeah,
Take the
here's
timeout,
problem.
work it.
Gray is 8-1, as you said it. He's got as many kills as the entirety of the opposite team combined together. So we've got a win condition, and it's going to live up to his namesake. You have got to stop Gray if you want to bring this one back.
Okay, win con established. Here's the question. Can they pull it off? Homeless taking the timeout. You said it. Feeling a little bit on the back foot right now. Steinsgate carrying some of the momentum from that previous game that we watched them sort of dominate against the Ha 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 team. Opportunity here on Bank. And I know you said it earlier. I love the fact that we haven't seen repeat in map, getting to cover the spectrum today on the Siege Double Shot. And welcome, everyone. You're just joining us. Thanks for being a part of the Open Qualifier number 3 here for Challenger Series. We're trying to figure out who is stomping and M80X going to play next weekend when the Swiss stage kicks off.
Yep, 3 up, 3 down into the hands of the defense. The good thing here, though, is if you're homeless, you've now had a look at all 3 sites, right? And you know at least what their initial take is going to be on it. So here's the big thing. What is the adaptation here by homeless? We set the win con. You got to stop Gray. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is going to be taking the space while you do step number 1. So take space, stop Gray, win round. See if they're going to be able to pull it off here. They've at least had a look. We'll see if their adaptation is going to have the impact that they are desiring.
It almost feels like leaving this Valkyrie on the board is a bit of a mistake. We know that M80 loves banning the Valkyrie. So many teams continuing that strat. And she's available. So difficult to deal with. And right now, Steinsgate, I think, winning that intel battle. Even when he brought out the Sam cams, just was not enough there from the homeless side. So changing it up, bringing out the combination of the Twitch and the IQ. Try to deal with this intel. I love that adaptation from this team. We'll see whether or not it's enough.
Stop Gray equals go Gray. I don't think that's going to help if you're a homeless fan. I mean, I'm just saying. We don't want Gray to go if you're focusing on that win con here. Okay, so you talked about it, that huge extension up onto the first floor. They're going to start with 2F and work their way down. You have to claim the vertical. This is a huge time waster here, or time torch, I guess is we've been calling it lately. So first, if they can do it, they have to claim that man advantage, and that is going to be a huge win here, except for they haven't taken up that space quite enough yet. They've got themselves into 2F. They still have one person outside that's droning and getting rid of them. They have a little bit of presence inside of ATM, but these defenders are allowed to just kind of sit for more than half the round.
You know, we were talking about the kill, the fact that Stop and Gray here sitting at that 8-1-1. He wasn't even in the top 2 kill leaders from the previous map that we watched. That was Bray and Mason sitting at 12 and 13 respectively. So any member of this team can go off. Almost got their work cut out for them. Like that they're taking a little bit of a slower approach here and finding one, but quickly traded out.
Oh, man, finding 2, actually. Walk through the fire. Kaiju's able to take it. A C4 rings out, but not going to be found out as Bear takes one down as well. So, man advantage is into the hands of homeless now as they're looking to find that adaptation to claim themselves another round. Or at least one, excuse me, not another. They're first. Now, these start to go out as Grim's trying to suss out some of that intel. There's no C4s left on the board, so that long-range plant going to be denied as they make themselves back into gold, back behind the safety of that the mirror that's holding on for the long distance here. 33 seconds left. The pressure starting to now mount for the people up in the main advantage, and that's going to be Dokkaebi with a Legion Goo that is going to continue to slow it down. A couple of shots, but they're able to rotate out of sight, back into the vault area, and then potentially come around for the gold side here. Ready for a bit of a util dump. They have 12 seconds now to start. It's going to be grenades coming out. Bear's going to find another one as Tribune goes down now into Gray going down. Win condition has been met down to a 3v1. Looking for the long angle. Kaiju's going to take it, and they're going to find their first round over and done, and they got one.
All right, Siege Double Shot. We talk about the timeout buff. The team that takes that timeout sometimes wins the next round. It's about 60 to 70% of the time. Seems like that works. In this case, for homeless, they took the timeout, won the round. Steinsgate won 3 in a row. They had completed the full round rotate, so homeless had an idea of how they were going to approach all of the main sites here on Bank, adapted to take on that basement, and Steinsgate can continue the normal rotation here, or at least their normal rotation, pick up the tertiary next, play staff office. They're not going to try and replay that Bank round.
Protect your bombs from being
And a little bit of a, still continuing that commanding lead right now, progressing along that standard split for a defensive-sided map. See how Steinsgate and homeless are going to react. We saw this one back on round 2. It got close at the end. Steinsgate coming out on top, though.
Yeah, I like when they just
Attackers have
you
located a bomb.
go check the round. You just business as normal. Okay, that wasn't it, because that means that you're comfortable with every site. Your tertiary site, not necessarily like the one that's like,
10
okay,
seconds
here's
remaining.
the big test. Here's the one we got to pass. No, it's part of your repertoire.
5 seconds
It is
to go.
it's the reason, or it is your secondary map choice, and that can be a little bit
Attackers' objective is to defuse a bomb.
a mental shocker that there isn't a site that you're necessarily bad on outside of the one that you don't have to play.
Oh no! With the win con taking down, one of the homeless players, Blake, early. Gray 10-2-1. Boy, we talked about Bray and Mason being the top from that previous map. They're playing support right now, just basking right now in Gray's performance and individually sort of shutting this team down. So you said it, when the win con was met, he goes down early, almost was able to find the win. Absolutely continues to be the case up here on the second floor battle happening on Bank.
Yep, and look at this. We've got several members now up, still holding on to that second floor, including Goyo, Frost, and the Mute. So still that attention and intention investment. Oh, what a shot. Bear's able to find one off the board, and that's going to be the numbers equalizers. They're claiming some of that second floor presence. A Vector rings
Another
out.
run out?
Another run out. You would think at this point that we might start putting claymores on those windows. That's the third one, Whiskey. Right?
Yeah, that's a huge miss by Homeless, and I think they're gonna look back at that VOD and say, what were we thinking? God, just you get in the moment, you get in the comp mindset, and you forget about making those simple mistakes in this case, because that's absolutely what it is. A little bit of just mistaking presence in the way that they're managing this game. So what can they do different? Can they change this strategy up, play off of Steingate mistakes rather than making your own? Right now, this is looking like an SG win.
That's true. So main advantage, the body balance sits into the hands of Steingate as the clock starts to count down. Sees a bit of a peak, but is going to pay the price for it. Genova gets taken off the board as a well-placed headshot. It's going to be rewarded to Mason. The win condition finds one. Tribune goes down as Bear's able to find it, but the swing is going to be safe. The shotgun is there to deny it and say good night and sleep tight.
Mr. Beaulo picked up a few important ones, but like you said, not quite enough to carry the Homeless team forward into a round win. Steinsgate picks that one up, playing off that first floor rotation. So now, change of pace. Rather than that second floor, going to try the basement locker one more time. And continue to see Corrupt running that Valkyrie, bring out the Mira, so good at solo holding that downstairs, plus the extra util there of Mason bringing out the Goyo. This is a difficult lineup that Homeless has got to deal with. They did manage to pull it off once, so they can and have shown that they can do it. The problem is now it's adaptation time. Who's going to be the better adapter in this case? Is there an opportunity here? Can Homeless pick up a win? Right now, it feels like Mr. Beaulo Kaiju sort of holding on. The rest of this team's got to pick up a few.
And you are absolutely right. This round is so important right now. And I think it's the right call to take it back down to the lockers, right? That 2F a little bit solved. It's known. You've got tons of repel action. The crosses get set up. You hold on square, you hold on repel, and then you make your push towards the spiral or marble, whichever option that you choose for that pincher move. So I think this is the right call. Go back down to the basement. A little bit of intention on holding on to that verticality. You saw it played last time where just quite a few members upstairs. This time, they're going all the way up even to the second floor. So a little bit of ghost pressure that you're going to have to deal with. Because even if Tribune doesn't stay up there, if he takes a couple of shots, if he opens up a couple of holes, then they're going to have to get drones in. They're going to have to get bodies in because that flank has been so impactful to them.
All right, you know what I'm seeing? Blake brought out a couple of claymores. Maybe they're going to stop it, but for a basement defense, not nearly as important, except you still have got players upstairs on the 2F holding on from this defending team. You got both Corrupt and Tribune are upstairs.
And Look at this. Might be rewarded for their efforts right now.
No
Good
way.
night.
No
Instead of
way.
finding it, that's going to take one off the board. Give him good for a second. A third goes down.
Shut
as the impact
down.
goes out. A Pokeball that says, I choose you, does finally stop the flow of bleeding as Fenrir is taken off the board, but the damage has been done. 4v2, 3v2 is now they make themselves in here. Kaijo's able to take a headshot and take Tribune off the board. If he can find one more, this will put us back a little
Nice
bit into
intel.
contention, and he does. He's gonna find the headshot. A C4 rings out, not rewarded for his efforts. So 2-2 with so much time left on the board. The problem is, on the other side of the board, you still have the win condition ready to go. 11-2 Gray is going to be that last determining factor. Kaiju gonna have to put a stop to him.
This was the Homeless team acting off of some tremendous intel, getting a couple picks off of it. Now they need to work that piece of it, and they've got time. A minute 15 left is enough time to try and find something that works here. The Twitch drone goes down, going to clear out these Goyo canisters early with enough time here. Now, the problem is Corrupt still got one more C4 in play. Are they going to be able to clear out one of these windows? Can the Twitch drone catch it, or is this defense going to shoot it before it gets to that point? The drone's going out working. They're just burning time right now. Get ready, my friend. The drop's about to happen.
That's right. Still 2 grenades in hand, too, to force maybe one of these players back. You're going to have to choose. Do you take the garage approach, or do you take the hallway shots? Either way, they put themselves now up and under, and a C4 could be rewarded heavily here as one is on the drones. If they get the call, now they see it that it is on the drone, but it's only, or that they're back in the hallway, but it was only one of them. So grenade comes out, and that's going to force the player back into the backside, which means hatch drop now is going to be able to be had. 20 seconds left. They finally get the suss out, and that's the down marble is.
What a shot!
Now Kaiju drops, and it's going to be a vector to claim both the win condition, reaching out and claiming a 5-1 half.
What a 180 flick there off the intel. The drone comes out. Player moves down marble, but he reads into that perfectly, swings on it, wins the 180 flick, and then is ready for the hatch drop on the other side. Just right now getting stomped by Gray. Steins Gate picks up a fifth defensive win, claims the 5-1 half, and sends Homeless into a desperate situation as they start their defense of Bank.
Yep, not the place you want to find yourself, but not all hope is lost. This is a defensive-sided map. The thing is we've seen Steins Gate have a really great attacking setup. It's very aggressive, it takes space very quickly, and they bring operators that are really just trying to make sure that they can isolate and decimate any sort of roamers that they have going on. And you can already see it, Jackal being shown on the side of the attack. So on the defense, we take it down to the basement, arguably the better site to start off with here, and not going to bring out the Mira. Not sure how we feel about that one. They do have the Goyle for the slowdown. They still are bringing that area denial to Burrell to make sure that they get those hatches to stay closed for as long as possible.
10 seconds
but
left.
in a 5-1 half whiskey, it feels like Steins Gate's going to be aggressive, and it feels like not bringing a Mira along to stop that might be not the right call here.
Attackers are moving out.
I mean, the problem is you brought out the area denial. You have the Tubrel, you have the smoke, you have the Goyo. They have all of the assets in play. The problem is you have to expose yourself to gain the intel on when is the right time to use those assets. You have to peek it. The advantage that the Mirror brings is you can see all of that, see exactly when the attackers are making the push, when they make the swing, and when they cross the corner. You don't have any of that opportunity here. I think that's a huge miss bringing the Mira. She is so good from that perspective. Mr. Beaulo bringing out the Azami could change that up, at least give them a little bit of one way, give an advantage there, but he's got to stay alive long enough to be able to use that, and it's not quite as protected without the Mira. So you're going to bring out the Jackal, try and ping out the Tubrel, but you can see it, tons of open space, lots of sight lines that the Homeless team is giving up already to Steins Gate.
Yeah, and you're right. I guess a zombie in the hands of somebody that knows how to do it is absolutely unstoppable. I'm pretty sure Bank is where we saw Stomp and bring out that lock the shield player at the top of the stairs so he couldn't leave with the Azami. I'm pretty sure that was here as well. So you're right. The static warfare of the zombie can be absolutely devastating. Now we're going to start to open up those hatches. Tubrel going to do their job to slow that down, which means you're only going to have the one over the hallway specifically opened up first. He's looking for for a cheeky little angle and almost was rewarded for it.
See you on the other side.
Device on ice.
Oh, they iced him one more time. This hatch is still going to open. It's just a time waste at this point, but gives them an opportunity there. Tribune goes down, but quickly answered back from two of his compatriots in a 4v2, potentially a 5v. Tribune is still rescued, but at this point, I don't know if it's even necessary with the man advantage they've got. It's a minute left, plenty of time here for this attacking team to work it, but finally, Subi's going to take down Mason. That's a huge pick. Answered back, though, leaving just Tubarão alive.
Yep, and then the swing, Corrupt able to take Genova off the board, and just like that, we find ourselves on a match point scenario. We're going to have to see Homeless be perfect. Geez, for 5 in a row.
Indeed, my friend, in a 6-1 match here with Steins putting a absolute stomping on Homeless. You said it. They got to be perfect for 5 in a row. We are on match point, and this is Qual number 3, the last opportunity for either of these two teams to move forward in the Challenger Series. And no opportunity, no more Quals left. It is a one-and-done scenario. Homeless, it is time to step up. Can you be perfect for 5 against this Steins team who has been so good here on Bank?
Yeah, so good. On both games, actually, right? It is, you said it earlier, it is basically any one of these players that can pop off. Gray wasn't even the one that was doing it on the last one, but he sits there now, 14-2. He has only found 2 deaths in this entire match. 2. That is absolutely crazy, rocking a 7.0 KD currently in the quals.
Yeah, what a wild run. This team looking very good. They have picked up exactly where M80X has left off in terms of dominating the early part of this bracket. Now, if you're just joining us, there are 4 best of 1s today. This is the 3rd. We've already seen 2 go down. Beaulo played on that first game and unfortunately went out in that little bit of fun rank stack that they brought along with Fett and the Avengers. Now, 3rd game. 1 more left for Steins to try and take on the qualifiers today before a quarterfinal best of 3 tomorrow to see if they qualify. This is all to figure out who is stomping an M80 going to play next weekend when the Challenger Series Swiss stage kicks off.
Can't wait for that. And if you want to see who has qualified thus far, you can hit the command top 8. And it will let you know who has made it this far. Okay, Bravo getting inside, getting a really effective use of the clutch drone here. As they're able to steal some of that intel away. Not a bad place to start yourself, especially if somebody dies, get themselves onto the cams. Taking up that 2nd floor spacing. Nobody from the defense up there to put any sort of stop to it, but they are, and they have held on to that 1st floor space.
Getting ready to drop. Don't drop too early, though. Keep this pressure on the attacking team. If you fall back too early, Steins devastating on the vertical. If you're a Homeless fan, sounds funny to say that when that came out that way. In this R6 match today in the open qualifier, the Homeless R6 team, if you're a fan, you want to see these guys shut this thing down, slow them down. Can win here on basement. Again, not bringing out the mirror. Feels like a bit of a miss. Waiting for the C4 toss up the hatch, though, could shut the Steins attack down.
C4 is primed, prepped, and ready to send it. 1 goes out, but he's not going to be rewarded, and that's the ping from the Jackal going out and given some of that intel, but he's able to escape into the relative safety of the hallway. Potentially on that garage area. We said 5 all with less than a minute. This is going to be absolutely a bloodbath as they make that final push down. All of the pressure on the Homelessness because Steins has 5 that they can still try to eventually find that from. There it is. The first one to go down is going to be Mason, and he's going to receive an MP7 to the shot to right to the dome piece. Now the 2nd goes out as Bear's able to find Tribune off the board now into a 5v3. There's that Azami stopping
well
the push
placed.
in at the top of blue. Yeah, 28 seconds left. The defense is really just doing an excellent job of holding on here. As it starts to count down, looking like we might potentially see that homeless win. That's going to be a 1-8 flick. Gray's able to find him, but Gray gets taken down off the board as Genova's able to find him with some body shots. A 4v2 now, a 3v2 as Gray finds a second. 8 seconds left, but they got to get in and make the plant, and it's going to be a shotgun to the face to end that one.
All right, we said they needed to be perfect for 5 in that 6-1 scenario they're in. They managed to find one downstairs in the basement. It got close. I thought they were going to throw it away for a moment. Managed to come up big there at the end. Now, interestingly enough, they're going to run the same site rotation, not showing the 2F as the second in the rotate. They're going to go with the staff open as well, following the Steins Gate lead. This time, though, you don't need to bring along the mirror. They're going to continue to run the Azami Valkyrie combo. I love that. A little intel, little deny. I think Azami's very, very good on this site. So, see, like we said, now perfect for 4 left in order to hold off the Stein Gate victory.
Okay, well, I mean, not a bad place to find yourself. You build a little momentum. What do they do on the defensive side to try to keep that going? They're going to lean into the intel, both Valkyrie and Mozzie on the board. This is not a bad call. It's going to give you some C4s, but we talk about Siege being a game of intel and opportunity. These two together create a ton of that opportunity. Now, with Gray putting themselves onto the Ash, a little bit of a roll switch off of the Habana, meaning we're going to see him get active a little bit more. This is where that intel could potentially really start to play out. They get him off the board, stop that 15-3 run that he's currently on. They might find themselves on the back end of another win.
Man, I love this setup. Working on this attacking team. They brought out the Claymores this time, 4 of them. Not wanting to fall victim to the same strat that they used very successfully on the first half of Bank to shut down this homeless team. What'd you say? 3 successful jump outs from those second-story windows. Steins Gate not going to want to fall victim to it. And working it slowly in the intel side, the setup side. Team's very good at working all of these angles. Homeless, got their work cut out for them. All 10 left alive, though, as we wind down that first minute of play. It feels like the play is slowed down a bit, moving a little bit more slowly than some of these other rounds we've seen.
Yeah, and kind of putting a little bit of respect onto the homeless name there, right? Making sure that they really suss out where this hold is going to be at. Specifically, this Fenrir and the Mozzie. They do take one, and that's a huge one. Gray's able to find Blake off the board, and that's going to give the body balance tip into the favor of Steins Gate here, as they claim 1 in that man advantage, and that was a huge first pick because now Valkyrie is relegated to her own cams.
Yeah, the Steins Gate picking up the opening pick. Even when they go down a man, they've still been very successful. And there it is, the Claymore doing its job. Genova is able to find one on the run out, the jump out, but is claimed by the Claymore. Well played there on the Steins Gate attacking side, putting themselves up in a 4, now 2 scenario with a minute 20 left, my friend, on match point.
That's right. They need to find at least one to stop this plant from being able to go down. There is a C4 still in the hands of Kaiju, so if they get in, if they claim that space, they can still stop that plant from happening. Do have a zombie who is located in the staff room area, kind of behind those Kibas, really trying to make sure that they're gonna. Gray gets handled. Still has the main advantage into the hands of the attacking team as they find themselves 3-2, but your win condition has been met. You've taken him down. So a Rotero in to get rid of some of that droning, and now Kaiju, who's just started to go on an absolute tear himself, is going to find a second one, and now this feels a bit better if you're the defense here, if you're team homeless, because now you just have to wait for the trade game, and if you find that first kill, which you don't, unfortunately, Bear goes down, does put us into a 2-1. So Kaiju, the hero of the earlier part of the round, has to close this one out, and he's got to do it in style. A quick swing is going to amount to nothing as he gets ripped off the board by the 417 and some absolutely devastating fire shots.
That's right, my friend. 7-2 victory coming up strong here for Steins Gate. Well played by them. Man, and this is it. It's not the end, but stop. Gray. Unbelievable game. He wasn't even, like we said earlier, he wasn't even the MVP of the last game. He wasn't even the second. This team looks to be very good. The fact that they can trade around the top kill around, anybody can pop off. And I know we said it early, homeless, the homeless guys, a few of our friends, people we hung out with during these majors. Sad to see them go, but glad we had them on the stream. Now, I also wanted to bring up the bracket, or the path to pro, as it will, because there was a lot. We're getting this question often. How does this work? How many more games do they have to play? Let's pull it up real quick.
Yep.
All right. Open qualifier. We're in open qualifier number 3. 4 teams have qualified from each of the previous 2. 4 more set to do it today. We've got one more game. We're going to follow along here with the Steins team as they get one step closer to the best of 3 elimination game that's going to happen tomorrow. One invited team, that's Nightmare, or the former SSG ACAD team. 3 of those LATAM teams going to round out the best of the 16 teams going into Swiss stage. And M80's already there. They've already qualified, my friend. They're ready and waiting to see who is going to qualify today and tomorrow. Find out who they play. One NAL team spot available.
Man, M80X already qualifying, Steins trying to make that same run themselves. One thing that is for certain that has been a highlight of the Challenger Series thus far is that the console stacks, they are absolutely turning up and proving why they belong here. Now, this is a PC tourney, but of course, a lot of those names you know from that console scene as well. So happy to have you here as we watch you guys make yourselves on the path to pro, my friend. Okay, one more game coming your way. One more best of one, and we'll be over and done. So sit back and relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you one final map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectator and players. A circle has no end or beginning, but we are back there regardless. Burger & Co. taking on Steins as the quest to head to the Swiss stage is still in progress. It's our last game of the day, Whiskey.
That's right. 4 best of ones. There was 129 teams that registered, 99 readied up. Over the last 3 weekends, we've seen 399 teams take a shot at glory, at winning the NAL spot. They got close, but only one can do it. Now, let's take a quick look at that path to pro. Even in the R6 main channel, they're asking for this graphic, my friend. How do I qualify? What's the bracket look like? Well, here it is. Come to the Siege Double Shot and take a look at it. Open qualifier 1, 2, and 3. 12 teams qualify out of these. We're in open qualifier number 3, the last opportunity. 4 teams available. We're currently down to almost the top 8 at the conclusion here. 1 team invited. That's Nightmare. The former SSG ACAD team got that invite. The LATAM teams, we're going to find out after the R6 stream finishes. We're going to find out who those 3 are, which is the team that qualifies. 16 teams in a Swiss stage into a double elimination bracket for 8 teams. 1 final team earning that NAL affiliate spot. There's a ton of Siege left to be played, but for today, 1 more round.
That's right, 1 more round. And you explain it so well, and yet I still find myself lost all the time. Here's the teams that made it so far. Here's the part that we know. Core, Akron, JJ & Co. Revelations, M80X, which you watched on this channel, the Unks, Blackbeard Gaming, and of course a staple of the T2 community in Karn & Co. So these are the ones who have made it so far, and the play today is trying to get to play them in the end. Whiskey, we got a big one right here, right? We watched Burger & Co. earlier today as they shut down Beaulo and Fett and that stack Skittlz, and they have just progressed throughout to where? Now they're playing Steins in a quest for the Swiss stage.
That's right, taking down Fett's Avengers, shutting down Beaulo on stream. They had some fun with it, but Burger & Co. trying to find a spot. Steins right there with them. Are we going to add more console pros to this qualified list? We're about to find out, my friend. The question is, where are we going? Map bans are in, and no surprise where we're headed. Console favorite.
Okay, well, we talked about in the last one where it was like, at least we haven't seen a doubled up today. Well, here it is. We're gonna find it. Consulate gonna be rerun. But of all the maps to see twice, this is not a bad one. This one has a ton of variety, and hopefully, gonna be a little bit of a back-to-back or back and forth here.
That's right, my friend. Consulate is one of those maps we absolutely love, and Steins Gate does as well. This is one of their favorite maps, it appears. We already saw them win it 7-4 versus the Jokers back in that round 2 game. So we've already got some experience, already played it today, already ready, and we're about, 10 seconds away from game time.
Okay, well, so a little bit of an advantage here for Burger & Co. as there's been some VOD on this, right? If you were watching the Siege Double Shot earlier, you were able to see that how exactly they played Consulate. I believe we saw some interesting bans going on to this one the last time, right?
That's right. From a ban perspective, it's been all about the shields pretty much most of the time here. In this case, though, Monty, Blackbeard, both of the shields were banned. So we're going to see a repeat. Is it going to happen here on Consulate? I got to believe the shields. Everyone hates the shields. Strategy is not built around them, built around having them off the board.
Yeah, I like that play. That's my strat too. Ban your blitz, right? Okay, well, I guess it hasn't been blitz either. It's been Blackbeard and Monty. So used to saying ban the blitz. We're getting into it. First ban off the board is going to make us eat our words, Whiskey. It's going to be the Ying. Gone. Not a shield player. The chaotic agent with those candelas. Not going to be utilized here. So some of that util drop and dump when you're getting into sight. Not going to be the play.
I mean, this is interesting. We just saw Homeless ban Ying. Thought it was an interesting choice because Ying doesn't get banned very often. And then we've had it twice in a row. Homeless and now Burger & Co. both choosing that. Steins Gate going to stick with more of the standard, though, and ban the Blackbeard. That's more what we expected in this case. From a defensive perspective, thought maybe we might see a Valk, but Steins Gate had used that Valk. Corrupt so good on the Valkyrie earlier. No, that is going to go with it. Avoid the intel. Prevent Burger & Co. from having access to it start off. Build up a big lead.
Yeah, now who's the last you take off the board? Does it the Mira? Is it the Azami or is it the Tubarao would be my main three because of how effective they are. But Fenrir, you know what? I didn't even think of him, and he's been utilized in every single game that we've watched so far. So of course, get him off the board. It's hard to hit what you can't see, and that purple cloud does it the best. So he's gone, which does mean though, Mira going to be available for that basement play.
And a little bit upstairs. Sometimes we see the hold watching from the bathroom into the yellow stairs, maybe over watching the main breach side. You can set up a little bit of a bunker strat over there, but without the Blackbeard, does leave Blitz and Monty available. I don't know if we're going to see one of those big shields come out here on attack, but the other big one it leaves is Deimos. The vertical attacking, we have seen the teams that do very well have a commanding presence of the vertical on Consulate, and Deimos really leads into that.
That's right. And so they're going to make the pick off of it, just at least for this first one. It's where I like to see the Deimos played is on that second floor hold. Defense, they're going to lean into the area denial, right? Smoke is on the board. Goyo's on the board. Still going to bring out that intel in the hands of Mozzie, who's rocking the P10. And then, of course, that long distance devastation that only the DMR can bring. Aruni going to be here as well. No shield, though, to like set at vending. So while they are going to be able to hold that area, and they still got the mutes and stuff and drones from sussing it out, feels like a little bit of a miss not to have that backup. Ooh, Siege timing doesn't get a kill there.
So close, my friend. Now, when we watched Consulate earlier, it was Mason and Bray that were really the top fraggers, 12 and 13 respectively, and then after that, Gray went off on Bank and had an incredible game. So really anybody on this team could pull it off, and the C4 long distance from Swifted gonna take off Corrupt.
Yeah, huge play as well, because not only does that gain you the man advantage, but it gets rid of a key operator. That gadget is devastating to sussing out where the heck the defenders are at. Intel is now gone. You have to do it a little bit more traditional.
Wow. What a toss. That C4 out the window. Well played there. Well timed. And, boy, almost loses his life. Walks into a Nomad, but actually survives. Who is this man? He's unstoppable right now. It's going to become the win con, and we're on round 1.
No kidding. So main advantage in a big way to the Burger & Co. as they find themselves 5-3. And it could be, you know, that they're just feeling it. Their first game of the day was taking down Beaulo. So, you know, momentum started in a huge way, potentially. A rotate down to Spiral, but they understand that it's going to be dedicated towards that admin side. You've got Ash still outside, trying to make get some drones in, suss out a little bit of that intel, help them get a little bit closer, and they've got it opened up on the long here to take that space and open up just a little bit more, trying to start to get in and get themselves ready for an execute.
Yeah, they've really backed off the whole admin side hold, bunkered back down into Strat, relying on some of the utilities, the utility around the map to sort of protect them. So got a hold on this, on the yellow stairs, but most of this all wide open there, taking a shot at the drone. Swifted sitting at 2-0 right now. Everybody, yeah, there he's got a little bit of intel, understands you've got somebody pushing up, took down that drone. Look at that, ready and waiting with the shotty. Loses the fight though, Juno.
That's right, Swifted on the triple kill now, puts himself on pace for the ace. Mason is going to find a kill on Swifted, so he's not going to be there, but the damage has been done. Tribune is now also down, so really it's just going to be Mason in a 1v3 scenario. Takes a swing, is going to be rewarded with one as he starts to make his way over to potentially get back up, but they're going to make the swing, and they're going to find it with a DMR, taking him down off the board. For the defense.
Okay, Burger & Co. showing up big, though. Really, what changed that round, the trajectory, the Swifted play over on the admin side, the C4 out the window, and then what really felt like a little bit of a luck in the Nomad play coming out, able to net him a double there and keep that team alive. Steinsgate, I mean, they're starting here on the attack, a little bit different side. It was very defender-sided when we saw this map earlier. So is it defender-sided, or are we going to continue to see Burger & Co. ride the high off taking down Fett and Beaulo's Avengers early in the round 1 game?
Okay, down to the basement. See what the defense is bringing out. That's what we talked about, being a prevalent and present part of the basement play. Mira, and what's the reason that it's so important is that from that mirror wall, you can hold the entirety of B side, right? From that, from the hatch drop to the yellow staircase to the main breach being opened up, and then that allows you to take more people and focus either upon that top rotate or extension, or potentially watching secret spiral. You can just hold more areas with a well-placed mirror here, and that's what they're going to bring out. But here's the interesting one, the fun one. It is going to be the Glaz and Mav combo with the Monty backup. We've seen this be incredible, where they Mav open the wall in with some smoke, and then Glaz to claim that first kill. See how they're going to utilize it here. I like the fact that they're bringing it out.
I love that play. Absolutely love it. I'm a huge Glaz fan, and getting to see him played a little bit more often on the comp scene really rings true with me. So they're making this push down secret, going to gain a little bit of control that side of the map. And on the opposite side, I was going to say, on the opposite side here of the room, you've got Roth is ready and waiting. Do they know? There it is. There the drone comes out.
Second player not quite in a position to take that gunfight. In fact, a Vector going to take Mason off the board. Glaz is there to answer back as he's able to find one on the rotate down the stairs, but the shield is gone. So now you've taken up this space, but you find yourself alone on an island. Ace rotating down now to the servers as well. Ash on the Visa to put some of that vertical place in, vertical play in place. 4-4 as we sit. First minute gone. And if you're asking who got the better trade here, Goyo still has gadgets up and your shield is gone on the other side.
Mason did manage to, he's still holding on to that 2K here, but Still have got the Goyo, or the Glass still left available, and there's the Mav coming out, opening up some of these sight lines. The thing that could upset this team, though, you still have the Mira, still have the Bandit, and the Goyo canister's still in play, and they don't really have any good utility to try and deal with that, aside from the Ash that Bray's bringing out. So you got a minute 13, still a lot of utility that this attacking team needs to deal with to really gain a strong foothold here.
Yeah, but they have started to push them into a circle here, right? Pushing defenders closer and closer together, hoping to catch somebody on the rotate, whether it's the map holes that are opened up on the main side, or, of course, the damage that's being done to the walls by map now on the backside. But either way, they've got themselves in a good position to start to cut these players off, these defenders off, and claim that man advantage. Goyo's canisters do get ripped. They're just starting to slow them down, and with 38 seconds
you called
left,
it.
There it is. That was the play right there. Roth is able to answer back onto Tribune. Now puts us into a 3-3, 31 seconds left. Glaz looking to get active down the hallway as they're starting to push a little bit closer. The problem is they don't have that main wall opened up, so you can only look, but you can't get inside. It's going to be Bandit goes down. The cross is still set up to be an absolutely devastating. A shot back as the DMR is able to take one at the top of yellow. Now a triple kill as Roth goes out. Man, and then a Vector to claim it. That was huge. They were getting taken off and bitten down, and then just didn't have a way in and paid the price for it.
All right, seeing a bit of cracks in the armor here from the Steinsgate team that we basically saw devastate the first 3 rounds of play ahead of this. Now, Burger & Co. showing up. Yeah, I think Burger & Co., taking the trolling in the all chat up a notch. Whether or not that's a good call or bad call, we're going to find out. I love the fact that they're bringing out the split site, though. This Consulate, the only map in the pool currently with that, and I love seeing teams play it because it really introduces, a completely different style of play where you have to play significantly more vertically by default here from the defensive side. So see whether or not they can pull it off. But that trolling in all chat, is that going to be their downfall or the mental edge they need?
Attackers have
One of the things that we noticed because we casted Swifted at the Butler Land, right, is that mental game, right? If you can get into their heads, you live a little bit rent-free, it will pay dividends. Whether Steinsgate can be thrown off by that, that's going to be the big question here. They do, however, and we alluded to this earlier, the blitz is going to be utilized here. I love that.
Defuse a bomb.
1 shield left. Rather than play the Monty this time, I think they had some successful Monty play. He goes down from that double team they had in the basement. So this time, though, Swifted playing the pulse, gaining this piece of the intel, holding on to the secret side of the map. Clearly the main focus here from a defensive perspective. So a lot of opportunity here from Steinsgate to play the vertical down on top of this team. They're so focused on the direct take in the basement. See whether or not they read into this and make the adjustment.
Having a bit of a wait there, waiting for that intel to make that swing. Trying to digest exactly how they're going to take the vertical on this. You can see that it's quite spread out, but nothing up onto the second floor. Right? They've already made their rotates back down within the first minute of play. So 2F going to be free, which does allow for some verticality here by the attack squad, especially because Gray is onto that gridlock, that thick lock. So it's going to stop some of that flank action, which we have seen be very present today. Right? A bunch of huge plays have come off the back of misdroning and leaving yourself open to that flank. That makes it tough.
We talk about the capitalizing off mistakes, and there have definitely been a few, and the team that right now doing a little bit better job of capitalizing on the mistakes, Burger & Co. But we've got all 10 left alive, half this round gone, and there it is, the opening pick. Roth finally going down, devastating with that 4-1 KD. Finally gets his first, and that's the DMR of the Aruni done. That's a huge pick, and then Shocks goes down as well. Boy, that group good night right now is looking like a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, Juno finds one as the headshot rings out, and that's going to be a shotgun to answer back, and then Gray takes Swifted off the board, so main advantage is in the hands of Steins here. As the shotgun is there to answer again, looking for a second. He's going to be rewarded as he gets the down, and that is going to be a knife, double knife to end it. There's no way. Oh. Sheesh.
I'm not 100% sure what we're seeing here to start off with. Compared to the round 2 game that we saw, again, we've seen Steins Gate now. This is their 3rd map in a row we've seen on stream, and when they played Consulate back on those first 3 rounds were absolutely dominant. They crushed their opponent to start this thing off and won the mental game here very early. Had a player in 12 and 13 kills apiece in a 7-4 game. So the question now is, they've gotten fatigued a little bit at this point. Burger & Co. is just showing up and finding all of the little ways to dismantle this team. So it is attack. It is Consulate, so certainly they've got the opportunity to come back on their half, but can't get too far behind. We talked about it all morning. You get too far behind, it becomes way too difficult to climb back. And right now, Burger & Co. showing up strong versus this team.
Yeah, 3-0 for the start. Sometimes not necessarily unexpected, but
10 seconds to go.
now is going to be the chance to get a potential to
5 seconds left.
really adapt to what they were just seeing. Right now, you've seen every site, except for they did do split, so it does leave it open for that exhibition and piano later on, and could be maybe a little bit difficult to read into, as that's not the one that you've seen already. So. Not quite sure how this is going to play out, Whiskey. Steins Gate for sure, though, needs to get active, because even on a standard split, they still need to grab themselves 2.
First 30 seconds down. Steins Gate working at this angle, taking Silk. The Mozzie peeking out. Swifted taking a lot of chances. He picked up 2 early on, and then has been a little bit callous with his life here for the rest of it. He's managed to pick up 2 assists, though. Has stayed alive, again, as the Mozzie trying to steal some of this intel. Playing the pea shooter game here. Gotta watch out. Ray matching that energy with 3 and 3 and pushing his way up into the yellow stairs.
That's right. Now about to take the swing. He's got some barbed wire that can be that sound cue, potentially letting him know that he's there. So instead, he's just going to hold on and wait for somebody to make the swing. And there is. Jog is there. Waiting for that potential presence at the top of the yellow. He doesn't know that he's necessarily made it all the way up, though. More cams being utilized here, and that's going to be the air jab set up to stop that flank. And there it is, the swing. Not going to be able to find it, but he holds his ground. He's ready to take the shots towards the closet as well. And now Grimby start coming out to reveal the location. They're going to ping 2 on it, both Smoke and Mozzie getting pinged out, and they know they have somebody at the top of yellow. It's a shotgun up to try and put the damage on, but this is a far distance to take that fight. I don't know if that goes into his hands. He does get a little bit of damage, and so the drop down yellow and the switch is going to be an air jab, and flashes go off, so he might not necessarily know it's there, and he doesn't. It's just going to allow them to take that space up, but he doesn't take the space, which means he's still going to have to play this long distance game. This shotgun effectively just shutting him down.
Yeah, well played by Roth at the top of yellow. Does everything right there. Avoids the Nomad. Stays alive. Uses the utility here to push them back. It is 54 seconds left. Steins Gate need to find one right now. They've got to stop this onslaught here from Burger & Co. defense. And Jagorku going to be the first to shut down Gray.
That's right. Vector rings out, touches it, but they get in and they just start going for the plant anyways. Takes a quick shot in. Swift is able to find him. Juno finds a shotgun, answered back as Roth goes down. Now into a 4-2, a 4-1 as it starts to fall apart for the attack team. And they're looking for a perfect 4-0 start here, as now Thatcher rotates up. Gonna have to just make a quick drop onto yellow potentially and find the play, but not much to be had here, especially with 18 seconds left.
15 seconds left.
Yeah, a lot of pressure here on Mason, the last one left alive. It doesn't need to take this sort of a push here. Gonna try and find an angle, but you said it with only no time left. It's gonna maybe find one, pad the KD a little bit, but goes down. And Burger & Co., you said it, 4 in a row here for this team. Right now, on a bit of a roll. They have got Steins Gate number in terms of how this team is handling the attack.
Yeesh. Okay, takes us down to the basement here, and really, this is a big round, right? We talk about 4-2 being the standard, 5-1 being acceptable, and 6-0 being devastating to your chances to move on here. So, a big round needed by Steins Gate. It's time to step up. They've got the action, they've got the intel, they see what they're
Attackers
bringing to
need
the
to locate
table.
and defuse
How are
bombs.
they going to adapt? Currently, they're showing verticality in the ram, and a little bit of spearhead play with this.
Okay, my friend. Steins Gate struggling a little bit right now to get some energy, get some action here against Burger and Co. Riding high off their win over Fett and the Avengers, and carrying this all the way through the bracket. And if you're just joining us, if you're wondering what the bracket looks like, bracket command in the chat. This is a best-of-1 single elimination tournament in the third open qualifier here for Challenger
10
Series
seconds
in
remaining.
North America. It is literally the last opportunity. If you lose today,
seconds
it is
left.
over and done. You are out and going to have to wait until next year to fight into a Challenger. So there is a ton riding on this game, on these games for all of the teams playing the bracket today. One and done and out. And I know it's a sad day. Somebody has to go home, but right now, Burger & Co. sitting 4-0. They did whatever research they needed and have got Steins Gate number. We see them change this up. Stop winning. You know, a couple of these early picks have been their downfall, fighting from the man down position and not able to come back.
And I think the big play here, Ross sits up on that second floor, hasn't been droned out just yet, and there it is, and now doesn't know that he's droned either. So that's going to be the split play as Blitz starts making his way around, trying to put some pressure on it. He gets over to the Visa stairs, looking for some of that intel, and they're making that rotate around. They're really chasing him back as he makes his way down, and they're going to find that kill. Corrupt able to take Roth off the board. Body balance is going to sit in the hands of Steins Gate currently as they look to try to solidify their first. Drones in here towards the bottom of yellow. Man advantage into the hands of Steins Gate. Can they capitalize? The zombie still playing tough down here. They've claimed some of that verticality. In fact, most of it
Shut
goes
down!
twisted. They now have themselves in a 5v3 with 1:30. Good night into the chat as it goes back. Blitz goes down, however. Potentially recoverable. Nope, they're going to take him off the board as the MP7 going to confirm that kill. Now into a 4v3. Start to make their path up yellow towards that vertical presence.
It's the best opportunity we've seen for this Steins Gate team with 1:14 left in this round. Up one man, and a lot of this utility worked on cleared. You still have the Kiba barriers up. You still have got the mirror windows in play. There's a lot of different opportunities here for this team, but still have to work on getting rid of this defensive utility. Steins Gate, this is your time. 54 seconds left. It is time to push. They need one round right here to even make a shot at this.
That's right. So they have the man advantage, but a C4 is prepped and ready for the hatch drop. He sends it, oh, not the hatch drop, sends it up top. Not going to be rewarded for his efforts. 39 as it starts to count down, and they still have the hold onto yellow. That man advantage, and they're going to get one goy off the top, and that's going to be a vector to ring out and take Tribune off the board. Corrupt answers back as Jug is able to find one onto Mason, now into a 2-2 scenario. Steins Gate best chance right here as he finds himself on the rotate. They get the down as a Corrupt triple kill, now into a 1v1 with 15 seconds left. He's going to have to make the drop. He does, and it's all the way back in yellow. He's going to start running up. 9 seconds left as they're going to kind of reverse situations. Attackers become defenders, defenders become attackers as he's looking to get that plant down, but it's got the vertical that he has to deal with. He's going to take the shot, and that's going to be a defender's win.
No way!
Forced to find it.
The time torch comes in clutch, and boy, Burger & Co. talking some smack in the chat and backing it up with round wins right now in a 5-0 lead over Steins Gate, who honestly looked unbeatable over their last two games. This is a completely different team rolling into to what is round 4 games here today. All of the quarterfinal games taking place tomorrow, but we thought for sure going into this game that Steins Gate looked like a shoo-in to at least have a shot at that best-of-3 quarterfinal. Burger & Co. here, after shutting down Beaulo and Fett, are looking to do it again against the Console Kings.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of what they had going for them, right? Your first game of the day is against Beaulo and Fett. You come out with a pretty resounding win. That can be a momentum that sets you forward for the rest of the day. And currently, they sit 5-0. This round is incredibly important. 4-2 standard, 5-1 necessary, 6-0 devastating. What does the defense do? They're going to bring out some intel. Pulses on the board, a little bit of that C4 action. It's going to see Roth stick the Azami, which has just been incredibly difficult in setting up some of that static warfare, redefining how some of this backside play has been had, and then the area denial. Goyo, who currently sits 9-2, mind you, is just having an absolutely incredible game.
Yeah, you said it. 9-2. I know one of Highbear's favorite players, and just wanted to say thanks again to Sirius and Highbear for raiding out to the channel. My guess is that means your game's already done. This part of the bracket taking a little bit longer. If you're just joining us, this is a best-of-1 single elimination bracket. The quarter-final qualification games are going to take place tomorrow. Those are best of 3. So this is the last game to find out who are the last 8 who can qualify here. Stakes haven't been higher, my friend. Last opportunity for anybody here in North America to qualify for the Challenger Series.
That's right, and they're going to find... Ooh, man, what a play. I was going to say they're going to find that man advantage early, but gets answered back as the Swifted C4 gets sent. But Mason and Corrupt, not to be denied, are both going to find one. Juno to answer back as the MP7 takes it. Mason with a bunch of damage now in that 5 HP in a dream type scenario, but they have the man advantage, they have the body balance, and the time is in their hands. It's answered back. Juno's able to find Tribune off the board, and now into a 2v1, a 2v1. Swifted able to take Mason, looking towards having a perfect half of siege. Takes a couple of shots towards the long. It's going to be a rotate up for the vertical. A little bit of the scenic route as they're trying to put the pressure on. They now know where Gray is at. So now the pinch to be had. Now into a 1v1. Comes down Spiral, but he's got the intel, he's got the intel, and he's got the one tap. Good night, sleep tight. They find one. 5-1 on the half.
Finally, shutting down the allegations there, winning a round, showing up when they absolutely had to. You said it, a 6-0 half is an absolute mental chalk. Finding a 5-1 is not not undoable. This team can certainly come back again. There was some questions in the chat. What happened? Where did the Steins Gate team go that we saw from the previous 2 rounds? Maybe showing up now, maybe getting shut down by Burger & Co. Round 7 starts, and it's the side swap. We get to see how does Steins Gate handle their defense of Consulate.
Locate and defuse bombs.
Okay, so we're going to put ourselves onto the op swap as we switch gears here. Steins Gate going onto the defense. You know that Burger & Co. is going to be aggressive, and what do I mean by that? I mean, they're going to shoot the gap. They're going to look for that early man advantage, and then potentially they're just going to get in and try to go for the plant. So if you're Steins Gate, you got to operate in the slowdown. And how do they do that? They're bringing out doubled up on the area denial with Smoke and Goyo in hands. A little bit of fire and a little bit of long distance to stop any of that quick. Frost on the board to make sure that you are not coming into those windows for a quick plant. And then, of course, Legion for any sort of... the approach up the stairs, slow down any of that with those Legion dudes, and the last but not least, the Architect Azami on the board to make sure that you have got some static warfare in hand.
All right, my friend, 15 seconds in. A little bit of an extension here on the manager's office side, looking to control some of this, but playing the windows, a little bit of the window simulator. Tosses both of his nades in, but no! Bray loses the battle to Swifted. Corrupt finishes him off, though. 4-4 now, just a trade back and forth. So, a little bit of damage done to both of these teams. No clear advantage yet, but losing the Deimos and that vertical control. And the choice between losing that or the Azami, both of those huge first picks.
Yeah, but which one is the better one? Which is the better pick? Azami is tough because now all those Kiba bearers, you're not going to utilize them. That was a big part of it. Roth was able to find Corrupt off the boards. The man advantage goes back into the hands of Burger and Co's. They look to try to put themselves onto a match point scenario. But now, so those are both time gadgets, right? The Kiba bearers and the Goose. That means that not all of them were able to be put out before their life was forfeit.
Same extreme focus here from this attacking team. They've got to clear out the shield at the end of the hallway this time. Yeah, you've got that Frost playing behind it. There it is. Drone comes in clutch, clears it out, and relatively early in this round, you still have got half the time left to play. Cleared out that piece of important defensive utility. Now, working on the admin overside, and Frost going crazy, trying to find an angle here. Where those Flores Roteros coming out, plus the ace charges open up lines of sight.
That now puts us into a 4-2, a 3-2, as Roth gets taken down by that Goyle fire. So they do have the man advantage with 60 seconds left on the board, but stymied, stopped from pushing in because of that flame. Now they will go out before the time runs out, so they will be able to make that push up. And there's the Dokkaebi call. It lets them know that nobody is quite close. Can't get in through that main breach. We saw that be a factor in one of our earlier games where they had it set up, but they just couldn't get through. It's going to be the Rotero on the rotate.
Yo!
But a Vector able to ring back and find
what a
two,
double.
able to have it now into a 2v1 situation, and the diffuser is down. So it's full health versus a low health and a full health, and you still got Gray on the side of those who are alive. Drop down Yellow, gonna take a quick pre-fire. Nobody there to answer quite yet, at least on the bathroom side of it. Kiba Bear is going to be a little bit devastating to get into, and now he gets locked on by the camera. Now they know exactly where he's at. Goes to take the swing. Mason is there to clean it up with the headshot from the Vector.
All right, so that was 5 in a row for Burger & Co. to start this map off. Dominant, across the board, every site, shutting down Steins Gate. They've managed to find a little bit of momentum, though, in their favor, winning the last round in their attack and now the first round in their defense. Not enough to say that this is a comeback that they can make happen, but there's believers in the chat on both sides right now. Who's it going to be? Again, one opportunity for these teams. Somebody, only one, can move forward here in this best-of-1 single elimination to move forward to that qualification best of 3 tomorrow.
Attackers need to locate
2 o'clock Eastern, again. Right back here, friends. Still got to finish this game off, though. Steins Gate setting up for the basement, bringing along a little bit of a breach denial. And again, that fire successful, picking up a kill last round. Mason going to bring him out again.
That's right, and that's not a bad call, and double it up on that area denial. They really were doing a great job of just slowing them down, especially towards that end round, and that was off the backs of some Goyle canisters, some well-placed Goyle canisters, and those smoke canisters, those toxic things. So lean into that strat, right? Make sure that you're getting that early kill and then just stalling for as long as you can.
5 seconds
Got
to go.
3 that they've got before they catch back up. It looked a little tough for them at the end of that last round, but they were able to pull through. Let's see if they can do it again.
All right, my friend. From a Burger & Co. attack perspective, interesting they didn't really bring out any of the big hard breach assets, right? No, I guess they have the ace, but the thermite for that main wall, it really feels like sort of an important part of the way that they manage getting in. Don't you have a little bit of the vertical play here? Swifted bringing out the ram, one of the few places, but boy, Roth going down early. Gray just holding those yellow stairs with a shoddy and wins that battle. Picks up that opening kill, and then, holy cow, quickly answered back in a double. It's now a 5v2 with 40 seconds into this round.
Man, it's just getting onto that defense and starting to lock in. So all that's left now is the global gadget of Finka and Pace, a 5v2. A tough place if you're Burger & Co. as Steins Gate starts to mount back an attack. Or, I mean, a defense. I guess an attack on their defense.
You know, we've been live now for more than 4 hours, casting a ton of siege at this point, but still, I can't wait to see. Like, we're at the end of this thing. It is Qual 3, one more opportunity, but check this. Unfortunately, the ace the bug, the visual bug there in the middle, unfortunately stopping the push in. There he gets one, but walks in front of the open space and shut down as a result. Unfortunate little siege timing there. Gray just giving him the good night in chat over and over and over.
Well, that's what happens when you give a team good night, right? Any chance that you get to answer back, you do it. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're now 2 away from tying it up. Burger Co. needs to find something on the attack side of it. And yeah, how do we know? I'm going to tell you. We casted 460 maps from T4 to T1. We love this game. And so we got a lot of familiar faces if you're here watching the Siege Double Shot. These are teams and names that you know and love from all of our previous casts coming together for their shot at the path to pro to try to get through that gateway to greatness.
And we talked about some of the collegiate. Swifted, one of the collegiate players. Make it a chance to see him in the Queen City Clash taking place at the University of Cincinnati coming up here in a couple weeks, which Whiskey Glitter and I will be live at casting that land. Looking forward to it. But like we said, got to finish out this qual first, and you know, no favorites here on the Siege Double Shot. We just love the game of Siege. Want to see this one go the distance.
5 seconds
The
left.
back and forth battle where we really get a chance to see which team is the best over the long haul. Right now, Burger & Co. had a significant advantage going 5-0 to start this thing off, but Steins has answered back. 3 in a row from this team.
We do love it. We love all of it. It's a blast. It's our favorite thing. Legitimate, promise.
The trick is don't play the game, just talk about it, my friend. That's the trick.
Are we good at playing it?
That's the
Negative.
trick to continue loving this game.
Just don't play it. Talk about it. Perfect. Okay, so 2 away from tying us up. Steins Gate. Looking like they've got a little bit of a momentum shifter there. Going to open up quick as the Rams going to start making some of that vertical space. Making it a little bit difficult to stay underneath on that first floor, and there are a couple people down there for the defense. Actually, everybody rotated back up outside of Corrupt, who is on to that DMR play. A little devastation from distance. It's going to be a DMR off. Oh, and Judo's going to win the DMR off as Dokopi's able to find it. Roth takes Mason off the board, and now the man advantage is had in a huge way over to Burger & Co. as they get those first 2 very quickly.
Target located. Second floor.
There's a big vertical hold here coming out from the Steins Gate defense, and Burger & Co. working, forcing that, but do they know the lurk? Do they know that Bray is downstairs going for the flank? No, catches Dokopi off guard. Maybe a second. Gonna back off that engagement, try and stay alive, which they absolutely need to, because now he's in a 1v1 with Tribune down.
Yeah, and almost no hope of getting it. In fact, there's the seal, the confirmation. Swifted good for a double as they put themselves on a match point scenario.
Not just match point, my friend, but match point and NA Challenger Series Open Qualifier number 3 points, because you win, you're sending Steins Gate home. You lose, it's over for you. So this is it. The opportunity, Steins Gate has got to be perfect for 3 now to keep the playoff hopes alive, keep the Swiss stage hopes alive.
All right, up onto the second floor. Defense is going to lean into that area to now. Little bit of traps to be utilized here. Really going to try and
Need to
slow
locate and defuse
them
bomb.
down. Bringing out the mute to stop some of that intel. Goyo to deny them getting into those windows. What is Burger Co. going to bring in reaction to that? It seems like at least they're sticking on some verticality. Buck to potentially play spoiler from below. IQ to suss out some of those gadgets, specifically, I guess, the default cams. Get Twitch in to get rid of some of that fire so Roth doesn't die to it this time.
Calling him out here at this point. Boy, the potential last round of this game's getting started.
5
Burger
seconds
& Co. 6-3. We said Steins Gate's got to be perfect for 3. They're going to be upstairs. Question is, can they pull it off? Can they pick up a round win? You know, don't pay attention to the chat. Game's not over until it's over.
That's true. Okay, Amaru gonna get up to the top of the building real quick. Look to take some of that space from the skylight area, but a C4 is there to match it, to send it up to yellow as they start to make their presence known. And a quick shot is gonna see Roth find the kill onto Mason. Main advantage and the body bounce goes into the hands of Burger & Co. with 2:27 left. Legion looking to get up top and stop that yellow play, but nobody there to answer it as they got their kill and they dipped out. 7 looking towards the top here. Big rotates, a little bit of damage done onto the Amaru. There's a couple of low healths on the side of the defense. In fact, a little bit more as Roth's reduced down to that 5 HP scenario, but still alive, so the body balance is maintained. Aussie repel into admin. They're going to find one. Corrupt takes Roth off the board, now into a 4-4. A couple of shots towards the repel, not going to have it, but the cross is set up. So kind of backed into a corner here. These Kiba barriers sends out some flashes, but their own Kiba bear going to keep them locked.
Oh, no!
Find one. Swifted good for a double. Now into a 4v2. The shotgun is in hands as they're trying to get rid of those Kiba bears. Looking to find, oh man, look towards one on the rotate, but not to be the case. Now sussed out on the drone as they're just going to keep sending, keep pushing inch by inch. They're taking space and claiming that real estate. What? No way, Gray! He gets tucked on the skylight as they're able to find one. The Spider-Man or Scooter-Man, as this being the case. He was all the way fully down. It just gets taken out. It is a pistol popping, body dropping. That's going to be Burger & Co., and they do it in a huge way.
7-3 victory for Burger & Co. They continue the win streak that we started here on the Siege Double Shot 4 hours ago with that win over Beaulo and Fett's Avengers. They pick up this big win here, and for them, move on to the quarterfinals, the qualification game. Those quarterfinals taking place tomorrow here, and we'll be back live on the Siege Double Shot at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time to be able to watch that. But man, what a huge win for all the Steins Gates fans, the console fans out there. You're gonna have to stick with rooting for M80 when we get to the Swiss stage next weekend. Those games will be right here as well as we work through that 16-team Swiss, and man, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. The Siege only gets better from here. Now you've weeded out the ones not necessarily destined for greatness on this run, which means you are left with the best as they compete for that top spot, that path to pro, the gateway to greatness. I can't wait to see all of that getting down. Man, I can't believe we're done with Siege today and it's only 6:30. How did that even happen? That doesn't even feel right.
I know, starting early, that 2 p.m. start time here on the weekend makes it happen. Now, we'll show the path to pro one more time here at the North America Challenger Series with the 3 open qualifiers, 12 teams now, and we are down to the final 8 here in qualifier number 3. Those qualification games happening tomorrow as best of 3s. 1 Swiss invited team, that's Nightmare, and then 3 from the LATAM side, going to round out the 16-team Swiss. And it all comes down to 1, my friend. 1 NAL affiliate team is left. Wow, best of 3 tomorrow. Qualification game, my friend.
That's right. Can't wait for it. And we're going to bring you all that same action, and it's going to happen right here. If you want more from the Whiskey Boys, we are on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm at glitter_whiskey. He is at Racing ENGR. We love talking Siege. So send us your clips, send us your ranks, send us anything. Hot takes, cold takes. We'll talk about it with you. If you want to play some Siege, we've got the Discord. You can head there through the link inside of the commands. Copper to champ and a little bit of competitive as well. All kinds of stacks being played out there. And then the last thing before we go, we are giving away a Rainbow Six Siege headset signed by the talent at the Boston 6 Invitational, including Fresh on the Desk and many more. Fabian, just all kinds of incredible signatures, and we're giving it away. So head over to the Siege Double Shot Twitter, find yourself onto our TikTok, make yourself eligible, and potentially you're going to win a signed headset. It's going to be really cool. But for us, we have reached that dreaded part of the evening where we must, alas, bid you adieu. So as the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Ayo.
Let's go.